Well, the Mets have moved out west for the final time this season. From the Bay of Baltimore to the Rockies in Colorado, trying to negotiate the Rapids in the final quarter of the season en route to what they hope will be a postseason. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Denver. Gary Cohen, Keith Hernandez with you tonight as the Mets open a 3-game series against the Colorado Rockies. The Mets have a quarter of a season to go. Their next 13 games will all be against last-place teams, Colorado, Philadelphia, and Boston. It's go time for this team.
Well, there's the old saying, and I know I've said it before, but these cliches are true. You have to beat up on the second division teams, particularly the last place teams, if you're going to win your division in this case, or the National League flag. They got a nice schedule going for them right now. They can beat up on these guys. They're coming off a 4-game sweep of Colorado in New York, so you want to keep the pedal to the metal.
Well, what the Mets have to deal with in this series, in the rarefied air of Denver, at least for tonight, they're shorthanded in the bullpen because Logan Verrett's going to take the start for Matt Harvey on Sunday. They'll probably bring in another reliever tomorrow, but right now the bullpen's a big concern.
Well, the bullpen is not deep. It's been exposed ever since that Pittsburgh series at home when they got swept by the Pirates in the extra inning games. The deep end of the bullpen is very, very powerful, but the middle has been iffy. So with Verrett now starting on the getaway day here on Sunday, Terry's shorthanded in that bullpen. They've got to make a move and bring someone up to strengthen that bullpen, and the 3 games here where you never know. You might have 3 games where there could be 50, 60 runs scored.
Well, Bartolo Colon will try to prevent that tonight. Now, Bart over his last 7 starts has been good and then bad. He was good his last start, so he tries to break that trend tonight.
Well, he's 1-4 since the All-Star break, and as Gary said, it's been a good, a bad, a good, and a bad. His last start was a strong one against the Pirates. Went 7 strong innings, gave up 1 run. Lifetime against Colorado. He's 2-1 in 3 starts, all here in this ballpark, but his ERA is almost 8.
On the other side for Colorado, the Mets get their second look at John Gray. The rookie right-hander looked terrific against the Mets 10 days ago.
Well, #1 draft pick in 2013, his 4th career start, All-American out of Oklahoma, threw a really fine ball game in New York. 6 innings pitched, only 1 hit. Left-handers for the Mets went 0 for 14 in that start. He's 0-0 in his first 3 starts. He's on a 75-pitch count, which is ridiculous, and they've taken him out early, but he really impressed us in New York.
Mets were able to take advantage of the Rockies' bullpen in that series to sweep 4 games. They'll try and keep their run going against the Rockies here tonight, a 4-game lead to start play tonight. It's the Mets and the Rockies from Denver. All the action coming your way tonight on SNY. today. By Geico, over 75 years of savings and service. By Bob's Discount Furniture, quality, choice, and untouchable value every day. By StubHub, the official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the New York Mets. And by Delta Dugout. Sign up today at Mets.com/Delta Dugout. Follow the Mets wherever you are with MLB.com at Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment at any moment with in-game highlights, look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com at Bat for your smartphone or tablet. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Crisp Coors Light. You're looking for home runs in the month of August? Well, both these teams have a hat to throw in the ring. Carlos Gonzalez with 7, Curtis Granderson with 6, up among the National League leaders for home runs through the first almost 3 weeks of August. Mets are out west for the final time. Trying to catch a big one here in Denver. Mets and Rockies first pitch coming up. Murphy moves over to third. Cespedes in center and Conforto in left. This could be Michael Conforto's last day in the big leagues for a while. And he gets the start there against John Gray, who makes his 4th big league start tonight for the Rockies.
Well, as I said, Gray, his 4th start. This will be his 3rd start here at Coors Field. His only road start was against the Mets, where he was very impressive. Good fastball, good slider, comes after hitters. But then again, you see the innings pitched per start, only 5. It's not his fault. He's on a 75 pitch count, which I think, and Gary also, and Ron, the triumvirate up here, thinks that's ridiculous. And we'll look at the Coors Light Rocky defense. We got some Gold Glovers hanging around. Gonzalez, Cargo over there with 3, but he won them in left field. He's in right field this season. Blackman can go get him in center. You've got Nolan Arenado with 2 in his first 2 seasons in the big leagues. And LeMahieu won his first Gold Glove
at second base last season. Nick Hundley, the veteran behind the plate.
You know, when you talk about Gray's pitch counts, you can understand they're trying to limit his innings, much as the Mets are trying to limit some of their starters. But why would you do it this way rather than letting him have a full start and then just stopping him at some point? I mean, they're not in a race. They don't need him in late September.
Gary, I don't have an answer for that. To me, it just goes against the grain. And you know, you don't want your pitchers, number one, to be looking over their shoulder to have a bullet down the bullpen. And I can see, okay, you want to do, depending on his pitch count, 6 or 7 innings. But when you've got 75 pitches and you're out in the 5th inning, it's just absurd.
Well, in 24 total appearances this year in the majors and the minors, Gray has gone more than 6 innings only 3 times. So they're certainly not teaching him to go deep into games. And for this Rockies team that has such a dreadful bullpen, that would seem to be something you would want to nurture in your starting pitchers. Anyway, the Mets, who swept 4 from the Rockies in New York last week, much because of the Rockies' poor bullpen, will try and get off to a fast start against Gray tonight. The Mets got first inning home runs in each of their first 2 games in Baltimore, from Granderson Tuesday night and from Murphy on Wednesday night. And Granderson leads off tonight against Gray, whose first pitch of the night on the way is taken for a strike, and we're underway.
Curtis had a 3 for 9 in Baltimore, as Gary said, with the 2 home runs in the first game.
Granderson in 17 August games has driven in 16 runs. He has been a run producer at the top of the batting order for the Mets. 52 runs batted in this year, almost exclusively hitting leadoff. Murphy and Cespedes to follow, and Granderson lifts one to left. Should be playable for Brandon Barnes, and that's the first out of the night.
Very big dimensions here, and particularly in left field more so than right. 390 out there in the gaps, almost 350 down the left field line, 415 in center, 375 in right field, right center. But the bullpen, folks, that is a bandbox. That is a short poke.
It is not the home run producing stadium that it used to be, but it is a run producing stadium because of all that expanse in the outfield. There's Daniel Murphy, who takes up and away for ball 1. Murph, the last 15 games, hitting .338. That covers the month of August. 3 home runs also in August, 9 for the year, including 1 his first time up on Wednesday night. And he pulls off the changeup, and it's 1-1.
Well, Murph's been hitting the ball really solidly, been using all the fields. Got a two-double game, if you recall, right, with 2 bullets down the left field line, I believe the first night in Baltimore.
Another change up, and he rolls over this one. Paulson, the first baseman, takes it himself, and there are 2 out. So Gray picking up right where he left off against the Mets in New York, and now he'll face you into Cespedes with 2 out and nobody on. Cespedes has cooled down, just 3 hits in his last 19 at bats. Have you seen any pattern about the way they're pitching him?
He's been out in front. Now the left-handers he hasn't hit well all season, even in Detroit here. And that's because he's been out in front. He gets out in front too much in the lefties. I like him to use right center field more. They've been pitching him a little bit upstairs, and a lot of bad breaking balls he's been chasing. Been rolling over, hitting the ball, pulling the ball on the ground.
Rockies put on the full shift against him. And he goes after the slider and misses. 0-1.
It's like anything else. You look at the defense right there, the shift, the unusual shift. But as I said, Cespedes has been pulling the ball, and particularly on the ground, and rolling it over.
Rockies got some great pitching last night from left-hander Johan Flande, and they beat the Nationals here 3-2 to take the finale of that series. The Nats have gone home, lost 2 hours in the exchange after a night game here last night, and they're playing Milwaukee, and they trail 3-1 in the 5th. Cespedes drives one toward the gap in right center. Gonzalez over. He won't get it. Cespedes to second with a 2-out double.
Well, that might be a good sign right there, Garrett, of Cespedes coming around, using right center field, keeping that shoulder in. Very strong. Cargo almost got there.
Cargo made a great catch last night on a diving play toward the right field line. That time couldn't quite get there in the gap. So Cespedes has his 34th double of the year. And the Mets have a runner at second with 2 out for Lucas Duda, his 3rd game back since sitting out for nearly a week with a back issue. 2 for 8 in the 2 games since his return. And he hits one slowly toward the big hole, and it's through for a base hit. Cespedes around third. He'll score the first run of the game. Lucas Duda bouncing one where there was nobody playing, and the Mets have a 1-0 lead.
Well, it's a line drive in the paper tomorrow. This might have even been a cue ball. Might have cued this, Garrett. I mean, is Duda going to bunt? Why would you play the third baseman there in that full shift?
Well, I think only because there's a runner at second and you want to take away the stolen base. And I think that's the only reason Arenado wasn't playing where that ball was hit.
And he did cue it, too. That was a sidewinder coming off his bat. But that is RBI number 56 for Lucas.
You saw the smile on his face.
Yes.
I mean, that's a 6-3 in any normal configuration. But the Mets able to cash a first-inning run. They already have more hits against Gray than they did the first time around. Now Wilmer Flores getting his 3rd straight start at shortstop. And he pulls one down to Arenado, who makes a great diving stop and throws him out. The 2-time Gold Glover. He is the state of the art right now at third base. And he saves Gray further aggravation after the Mets cash a run in the first. 1-0 New York. In the last 3 days, hitting second in front of Carlos Gonzalez. Rockies hit at home. They average almost 5.5 runs per game at Coors Field. Nearly 2 runs per game more than they do on the road.
And there you see Bartolo, a lot more hits than innings pitched. Walks are outstanding. He's going to have to try to find a way here. Contact pitcher and a fly ball pitcher and a bandbox ballpark. You know, it's the largest outfield in baseball, but it is a rocket launch here.
Charlie Blackmon lines one to center. Cespedes will have to play it on the hop, and that's how Cologne's night begins. Blackmon, who went 0 for 12 against the Mets in the 4-game series in New York, has an opening hit.
And we'll take a look at the Lexus Metropolitan defense. Conforto in left field. Cespedes goes to center. Lagares on the pine. Going for an offensive infield here. Flores getting a start up here. That hit the home run gets rewarded, and Darno, everyday catcher.
So here's Reyes, who had 3 hits yesterday against Max Scherzer in the Nationals. Had a 4-hit game on Tuesday in that series as well. I think it took a couple of weeks for Jose's mind to come around to the idea that he was not going to be with the contending Blue Jays anymore. And a close play at first is due to drop the ball.
Well, there could be worse places you could be playing in a second division ball club. Denver's a lovely place, lovely town. Nice ballpark to hit.
This is now Jose's 20th game for the Rockies since they got him in the trade for Troy Tulowitzki. Blackman, a base stealer. He's got 31 this year, but he's been caught 12 times, so not a great percentage. Colon does a good job controlling the running game, and he picks him off. No, just got his hand back in.
That was close. I thought he had him.
Looked like he had him.
He's out.
He did have him. Mets are going to challenge that call, I'm sure.
Here comes Terry.
Yep. Terry's already at the top step. And the Mets are going to challenge the call. So an early challenge in this game. First base umpire Paul Schreiber said that Blackman got his hand back into the bag. Terry consulting with his replay coordinator. And this is what he saw.
He's definitely out. And again, Gary, I hate to beat a dead horse, but first base umpiring this year has been atrocious.
Play under review brought to you by Mazda Driving Matters. Back in the bunker in New York, Tom Hallion and Jeff Kellogg and their crews are handling the replays this week. So Blackman, who was trying to get a big lead against Colon, has got a good move and is quick to the plate, hard to run against. May well find himself having been picked off. This was the third throw in the sequence from Colon. It certainly appears as though
he's OUT.
Duda got the tag on him.
OUT with a capital O.
And the umpires have come to their decision. And that decision is out. Call overturned.
Nice.
So that's how Colon gets his first out tonight.
Well, another part of Colon's game that gets overlooked. He's very quick. He feels his position well. You would look at him and say, okay, he wouldn't have a quick move to first base. He does.
I mean, it was pretty obvious that he got him. So now Reyes, first pitch to him, and bluffing a bunt, he takes a strike. Reyes has had terrific numbers against Colon. 5 hits in 9 career at bats against Bartolo, and he certainly drove Murphy in with that first bluff bunt. Slaps one to left center. Cespedes coming over, and he gets there for the second out.
Well, Cespedes, what little we've seen of him thus far, this is only his 18th game as a New York Met. He can play left field, he can play center. He is real quick off the bat, great reads, covers a lot of ground laterally.
You know, when I first saw the lineup tonight with Colon and his tendency to be a fly ball pitcher, I was a little surprised Lagares wasn't in there rather than Conforto. But this might be Conforto's last night before he gets sent down, and I think that's why the lineup is written the way it is. Carlos Gonzalez takes inside. The likelihood is that the Mets are going to call up a relief pitcher tomorrow. They were going to send Conforto down anyway when Wright came back next week. This way he'll go down a couple of days early. Mets will have an extra reliever here in Denver. And then that reliever probably will go down. Carlos Gonzalez drives one deep to right, and that's gone. Gonzalez, who has more home runs than anybody in the majors since the 1st of June. It's his 29th of the year to tie the game. A no-doubter for Cargo gets the Rockies even.
Well, I'm a bit surprised that Colon would not be maybe a little one guy in the line to be most careful with. Wants the ball away. Where was it? Oh boy, you see the right down the pipe, and when you hit the ball solid here, you know it's going to get out.
Well, you know, you talk all the time about pitchers and location. Few pitchers can afford to miss location like that more than Bartolo Colon, especially in a ballpark like this. 20th home run Bart's allowed this year.
Yeah, and you know, the Mets pitching the last 4-game series, they handled Arenado. Arenado did not look good at the plate.
Pops one up on the infield. Who's going to take it? Flores takes charge, and that retires the side. But Carlos Gonzalez hits his 29th home run of the year, and that gets the Rockies the run back. 1-1 as we go to the second at Coors Field.
Beautiful.
Could look all day at the Rocky Mountains.
You can see how those mountains were formed, how they just shot up in an angle like that. Just absolutely gorgeous.
Kelly Johnson leads off the second for New York in a 1-1 game. Johnson just one hit in his last 12 at bats. His 18th game as a Met. He's hitting just 189 in a Mets uniform with 2 home runs. And Gray gets a letter high strike. Generous call from the rookie home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney. 1-1. Travis d'Arnaud on deck, then Michael Conforto for the Mets in the second. John Gray's last start was Sunday against San Diego. He was limited to 69 pitches in that outing. Went 5 innings, allowed a run on 4 hits. He's pitched well 3 starts in a row, has not had a decision yet. Off speed, drilled, base hit. So Kelly Johnson gets the Mets started in the second with a leadoff single.
Well, it looks like the Mets did their homework on John Gray, who only gave up 1 hit in 6 innings in New York. Second time around, Mets have got their third base hit in the second inning.
Well, the first time around, this is the only guy who had a hit against John Gray. Travis d'Arnaud homered for the only hit Gray allowed in 6 innings. It's been a struggle, though, for Travis since coming back from the disabled list. 14 games now and hitting under 200. Meanwhile, in Washington, the Brewers now lead the Nats 5-1. It's been a rough night for Washington. They lost Yunel Escobar when he went after a foul pop-up and ran into the sidewall, had to come out of the game. And now Gio Gonzalez knocked out after 5 innings.
Something rotten in Denmark and that national ball club. They're not pitching. And the Mets have a chance to take advantage.
You know, there's been so much talk about the Nats and the fact that they had all the players injured and they haven't performed well since coming back, Zimmerman and Worth, etc. But I think that what you just said is far more important. They were supposed to have a fail-safe pitching staff, and it hasn't pitched that way since the All-Star break.
Gio Gonzalez has basically been a 5-inning pitcher. You know, he's just so erratic. It almost seems like third time through the order, teams' lineups get onto him. I mean, those are 5 unanswered runs up there in Milwaukee. Washington took an early 1-0 lead.
Well, that's since the All-Star break. Look at their ERA since the break. I mean, who would have thought that?
Right. I agree.
It's a reason why they're 12-21.
Everybody thought that Washington was the class of the league. Kind of overlooked the Cardinals.
Well, the Cardinals have survived how many injuries lately? And they're still 34 games over 500. d'Arnaud hits one in the air to right center. And Gonzalez calls. One away.
Well, they're very concerned in St. Louis that Jason Hayward is his hamstring injury, that he may have pulled it from the bone, or a complete tear. It's something more serious than a strain.
Well, here's Michael Conforto hitting 8th in the order. Conforto getting his 17th start with the Mets. 12 hits and 54 at bats in his brief major league career. And we've mentioned several times that he'll probably be sent down after the game tonight, but he'll be back on September 1st, which is only 11 days away, where the rosters expand and every team will add players. The things that I would like to see baseball change, by the way, having 30, 35 players available in September. I think September call-ups are great, but I think they need to limit the rosters in particular games. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, Bobby Valentine was a big, made strong arguments about the expanding rosters in September.
And I think most managers feel the same way. It's a different game in September. You have so many more relief pitchers, pinch runners, pinch hitters, players that aren't available for the other 5 months of the season. And these are the most important games. Conforto, Yanks won't foul, and it's 2-1.
Well, you can save your bullpens more with more pitchers out there in the bully, and you know, blow out games early. You don't have to bring in. There's no. You can rest your regular guys that are going to be in postseason.
Johnson at first and 1 out. 1-1 game in the second. Bartolo Colon on deck. And Conforto takes outside, and now it's 3-1. John Gray has put up much better numbers in the big leagues than he did in the minors this year. Now, part of that is pitching in the Pacific Coast League, as we've seen with a bunch of the Mets pitchers who come from Las Vegas. He was at Albuquerque, which has similar high altitude numbers. 4.33 ERA in AAA, 2.4 in the big leagues. And Conforto takes inside, ball 4. So now the Mets have 2 men on, and Colon coming up. Get to Citi Field next Friday, August 28th, when the Mets take on the Red Sox at 7:10 p.m. All fans in attendance will receive a Mets NY logo T-shirt, courtesy of Pepsi. For tickets, visit Mets.com/free shirt Fridays. So now Colon, who has 6 hits and 2 sacrifices this year. You would assume he'll be asked to bunt, if only to stay out of the double play. Did it hit him or the bat? It hit him, and the bases are loaded. Now the question is, where did it hit him? And Terry Collins immediately expressing some concern. It got him on his right arm.
Now, did he try to bunt it? If he tries to bunt it, and it is his right hand.
Yeah, Walt Weiss is going to come out and ask about that, whether he offered at it. But he was
no, he did
back.
not. No, he did not.
On the other side of that right wrist. So this is certainly of concern.
This is the one thing you're short in your bullpen. Verrett starting on Sunday. Logan Verrett. Harvey getting scratched, and you're short a man in the bullpen. And this guy, you need length today from your starter.
Well, this is certainly of concern, not only for tonight but going forward. I mean, that is not a place where you want your pitcher to have any kind of contact made.
It always reminds me of David Cohn trying to bunt in San Francisco.
Broke his finger, right?
Lost him for the 8 weeks.
Ray Ramirez having Colon squeeze his finger and bending that hand backwards, trying to get a measure of just how badly he's hurt, and he's well enough to stay in and run the bases, and we'll see from there.
Let's see where he got hit again here. Okay, so just under that, he got his ulna, not his hand.
Yeah, more of the wrist and forearm, right where those come together.
Just below the wrist, more on closer to the forearm. It hurts. I've been hit there more than a few times.
Well, the bigger question, of course, is going to be how it affects his ability to grip the ball and use finger pressure. And
exactly.
We'll know that a little bit later. For now, though, the Mets have a huge opportunity with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Why are they playing the first baseman in? They move him back. You got to be kidding me. 1 out? Yeah, there you go, slugger. Get back.
Left-handed pull hitter at the plate.
Get back further.
And Granderson takes a strike. Curtis fly to left his first time up.
That's Ben Paulson over at first, who's done a real fine job for this team, but he's got to get deep. This is a ballpark that's huge. You can't be giving up a big inning here. You got to play back.
Ball and a strike to Granderson. Mets with the bases loaded this year as a team hitting .352. Daniel Murphy waits on deck. Johnson at third, Conforto at second, Colon at first, and 1 out. And Granderson hits one to center field. Falling fast, base hit. In to score is Johnson. Everybody else moves up a base. Granderson with an RBI single makes it 2-1 New York.
Well, everybody on the bases, and including me up here, got fooled. Thought the ball was hit a lot better. I thought it was going to be a sacrifice fly, Garrett.
I think Blackman, when that ball was first hit as well, thought it was going to sail a little further. Then he came charging in too late.
And Conforto is the runner on second base. And he plays it wise because it's 1 out. You don't want to get doubled up. I thought it was a sacrifice fly, and you saw in the contact in the instant replay of Curtis. He got it on the end of the bat.
So Steve Foster, the pitching coach, out to talk to Gray. Mets still have the bases loaded and 1 out, a run home. They've taken a 2-1 lead, and now Murphy gets a crack at Gray. So this is the first time in his brief major league career that John Gray has struggled. First time he's facing a team for the second time.
Well, you know, when you face someone for the first time, the element of surprise and advantages to the pitcher. But when you come back and face him the second time, you have an idea of what he likes, what he features.
Murphy grounded out to first base his first trip and takes inside. Gray did a lot of pitching inside against the lefties first time around, but was able to hit his spots. He's been missing inside early in this game. Cespedes on deck. And Murphy hits one toward the middle of the diamond. Base hit! Conforto is in. Colon will stop at third. Daniel Murphy with an RBI single makes it 3-1 New York. '48th run batted in for Murphy, and the Mets looking for a big inning.
After a fastball in up the middle, just went over the head of Gray, and with Colon at second base, you're not going to get 2 runs out of this. So Murph continues to hit and drive in runs.
So a couple more bases loaded hits for the Mets from Granderson and Murphy. And now a chance for Cespedes, who doubled to right center his first time up. Mets now with 3 runs and 5 hits off Gray. And Cespedes takes the breaking ball inside for ball 1.
They got the corners in now at first base, which early in a game here in Colorado, I'm sorry, I can't bring that first baseman in, Garrett.
You got Colon running at third. Takes a pretty good fly ball to get him home. But Gray really struggling now behind on Cespedes 2-0.
And Gray's body language is not positive. You can see he is trying to find it.
A 23-year-old out of the University of Oklahoma, drafted just 2 years ago as the 3rd overall pick in the draft, right behind Chris Bryant. 2-0 to Cespedes with the bases full, and Cespedes fouls back the fastball. Bryce Harper's just hit his 31st home run. It's now the Brewers 5, the Nationals 2 in the 6th inning in Washington.
There's never a lead safe in this ballpark.
You need to pile them up. Save them for later. 2-1 to Cespedes. And that's in tight. 3-1. Well, Gray has backed himself deep into a corner. Already down in this game 3-1. In danger of forcing in a run. Cespedes should see something pretty good. Duda waits on deck. Colon at third, Granderson at second, Murphy at first, and 1 out. And Cespedes fouls off the fastball. And Gray gets it to 3-2. Now Sean Gilmartin is starting to throw in the Mets bullpen. Well, actually, now he's going to sit down. So obviously the dugout signaling out to Ricky Bonas that they think Colon is okay.
Right. That's just safety.
3-2 coming to Cespedes. And he whacks one in the air to deep right field. Back goes Gonzalez on the warning track. He'll make the catch. No, it's over his head and off the wall. It's out of here for a grand slam. Cargo trying to fake everybody out, but it went over the wall for a grand slam for Cespedes, and the Mets have a 7-1 lead. Cespedes takes one the other way. His 21st home run of the year, his 3rd as a Met, the Mets' 2nd grand slam of the season, and they put together a 6-run 2nd inning to make it 7-1 New York.
Well, Garrett, I told you Cespedes forgot about right field. Both his hits tonight, right center the double, and now the grand slam. to right field. So that's great sign right there.
Ball hitting right on top of the fence and hopping over. And now Duda takes ball one.
3-2 count. Fastball up.
You hear the sound. That was the sound of that ball hitting right on top of the fence. And now it's 2-0 to Duda, and Gray's just completely come apart here, and they're getting warm-up action going in the Colorado bullpen. A single by Johnson got it started. Conforto walked, and then the big turn of events in the inning. Colon trying to bunt, hit on the hand by a pitch to load the bases. Granderson with an RBI hit. Murphy the same, and then Cespedes the grand slam as Christian Bergman gets up in the Colorado bullpen.
Will show no mercy. The Mets have been hitting home runs, that's for sure. They are last in batting coming to the game as a team in the National League. They're 14th in runs, 6th in home runs.
Yeah, the vast majority of their offense lately has been coming via the home run. Duda cracks one deep to right, but that'll go foul. Well, way out ahead of that. Hit it off the second deck. Lucas dribbled one through the shortstop hole, which was open in the shift, and drove in the first Met run. This time that shortstop hole is covered with nobody on base. Right at LeMahieu, and he makes the play for the second out. Now Wilmer Flores will bat, the 9th man up in the inning. Flores was robbed of the base hit by Nolan Arenado's diving play in the first. And Ray Ramirez continues to work on Colon and his wrist and forearm.
Some ice on that. I'm sure he's rubbing ice on it, Garrett.
When you're a pitcher and you've got a 6-run lead in the second inning, it doesn't matter if it's broken. He's going to go out there and try and get his 5 innings in.
Even in this park.
Even in this park. 2-0 to Flores. So Gray continues to fall behind the hitters. Toward the middle of the diamond, and that'll go through for a base hit. So Flores adds the 5th hit of the inning, and Kelly Johnson, who got the whole thing started, will get another turn at bat.
Well, he can't just be throwing the fastballs down the pipe, and that's what's happening here. Nice hitting by Flores, and you've got a very fast infield here also. Another advantage to the hitter. Grass is very short, and the dirt with the heat here, and it's hot here in Denver. Ball just flies through the infield on the ground.
Johnson single to right earlier in the inning, and he takes outside. You would think with all the advantages that hitters have here that they'd grow the grass long on the infield here to try and even things up a little bit.
Like they did in Chicago when I was a young kid coming up. Chicago had all those right-hand sinker ballers, and they had the grass 4 inches long to gobble up ground balls. I agree, Gary.
By the way, for Cespedes, his 2nd career grand slam. Both have come this year. He hit one for the Tigers back in April, and now he hits one as a Met here in August. Nothing like coming to Coors Field.
Oh, if you come here red hot, Gary, oh, geez, it's just like you're drooling.
Well, he's already got a double and a grand slam in the first 2 innings.
And I had my experiences here. In the minor leagues, I played at Mile High Stadium, and the Denver Bears were here in AAA. And boy, I had some great series here because the ball just jumps off your bat.
And that's before they discovered the miracle of the humidor. Up the middle, another base hit for Johnson, his 2nd hit of the inning. And the hits just keep on coming.
Well, this is a thrashing.
Well, you wonder how much longer they'll leave Gray out there. If they're concerned about his pitch counts and his innings limits, you'd have to think they're concerned about a 35-pitch inning.
Well, you know what I don't like what I see? I don't like the body language, and he's going to yank him. Well, right, Wise. If I was managing, I'd make him finish the inning. He needs 1 out.
Walt has seen enough. 6 runs on 6 hits here in the second inning. Will knock Gray out of the game. First time in his career he's taken an early exit like this, and Christian Bergman will come on to replace him. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon. 7-1 Mets in the second. We'll be right back. Two-thirds, and Christian Bergman on in long relief for Colorado.
Well, he pitched the third game of that Colorado series through an inning. Gave up a home run to Cespedes in that series at home.
Bergman, not a hard thrower, a guy who was a starter for the Rockies last year, been working out of the bullpen this season. Travis d'Arnaud, the 11th man up in the inning for New York, and with Gray gone early, the question is, will Colon be able to continue after Gray hit him on the wrist? And Bergman misses outside to d'Arnaud, who flied out to right field for the first out of this inning. We'll see with Colon. I'm sure he'll go out there and try it. The question is whether he'll be able to perform after being struck. And Bergman quickly behind 2-0. That is 5 straight batters that have gone 2-0. Flores at second, Johnson at first with 2 down. 6 runs home in the inning, 4 of them on a Yoenis Cespedes grand slam. And d'Arnaud cracks one to right field. Cargo coming on, and he makes the catch to end the inning. But 11 Mets came to bat, and 6 of them scored. 4 of them on one opposite field swing by Yoenis Cespedes, his second grand slam of the season. And the Mets in Cologne lead 7-1 in the second. He got hit on the wrist by a pitch as he goes out to the mound for the bottom of the second.
Well, it would be very nice on the offense to keep the pounding going. This is a game where you need to go deep if you're the starter, Colon, that is, in this case. Try to save that bullpen. It's a little short tonight.
And Paulson leading off. And Colon quickly ahead of him 0-2. He doesn't look perturbed in any way.
No, looks fine.
But then again, he never does.
He looks fine. Well, you got the worst pitching staff in the National League, and you know a lot of it has to do with playing 81 games here at Coors Field. But both their bullpen and their starters are ERAs over 5.
Trying that two-seamer and just missing. 1-2 to Paulson, who's had a nice year filling in for Justin Morneau at first base, and he drives one to deep left center field. That's headed toward the wall, and it's out of here. So Ben Paulson hits his 9th home run of the year, and the Rockies start the long climb back. It's now 7-2 New York. Second home run given up by Colon in his first 5 batters of the night.
So as Gary and I were saying, don't count the chickens before they're hatched. Not in this ballpark. And that's 390 out there. He hits this ball right on the screws. But that's a long way. The ball just really carries.
So Colon got ahead on Paulson, didn't get the call on 0-2, and then gives up a long home run, second one of the night for the Rockies. Ball came out of the stands. Maybe a Met fan caught it. Cespedes has to retrieve it and toss it back into the crowd. Meanwhile, here's DJ LeMahieu. LeMahieu got the night off for the Rockies last night, but he's had a good year. And there's concern about Colon here, and Ray Ramirez and Terry Collins are going to come out and see whether he can continue.
He's okay. I'm fine. Go away. I'm fine. Go away.
And he's convinced them for the moment. The 2 home runs against Colon tonight. Cargo 443 feet. Paulson 438 feet.
Both home runs and all 3 in this game have been pitches away. I almost have the opinion you got to pitch inside, try to jam hitters, Gary. You think you can live on the outside corner? Well, they can take you out the opposite field. We've had 2 opposite field home runs in this game already.
Mayhew takes a strike. Colon's now given up 21 home runs this year. This is his 24th start. 0-2 to LeMahieu, who starts tonight as the 6th leading hitter in the National League, hitting .315.
He's got a peculiar swing. He kind of steps in the bucket, a little slightly open stance.
Nice flag down by Colon, and he gets the first down. Nothing wrong with his left hand.
Bartolo, excuse me, Bart. He can field his position.
And if he doesn't get this one, this is up the middle. So 1 out and nobody on. Now the catcher, Nick Hundley. Hundley had a night off last night. He's having his best offensive season, hitting a .295, the former Padre. It's funny how guys come here and have their best offensive season.
Well, he came from San Diego with one of the bigger parks in baseball and comes here and flourishes.
Signed a 2-year, $6 million deal. It's looking like a bargain for the Rockies. Flores can't get to that, and it's up the middle, a base hit for Hundley.
I really, Gary, you made a very, very good point. I mean, you really have to consider to kind of level the playing field is to get that infield grass and outfield grass a little bit thicker.
Well, that was a classic example there. On longer grass, Flores probably has a chance to get to that ball. Well, on this fast infield, no chance. And that's why we talk about these days It's not so much about the home runs in this ballpark, although we've seen 3 of them in the first 2 innings. It's about all the base hits. The Rockies average almost 2 runs per game more at home than on the road, but they haven't hit that many more home runs at home. But they hit for a .299 average at home, .235 on the road. Interestingly, the gap for their pitching staff is not nearly that severe. It's less than a run per game difference between home and road. Toward the hole, Flores flags it down, and the one-hop throw can't be handled by Johnson, and everybody's safe.
Well, nice play to his right, and just makes a throw in the dirt. And Johnson can't come up with it. So, you know, Flores is not a shortstop. Most shortstops by trade make that play.
Wait to see how they score that.
It's got to be an E6.
And that's exactly how they will score it. So that enables Hundley to reach safely at second. Barnes is at first, and now the pitcher Bergman, who came on in long relief in the last half inning, will be up there. Mets a look for the bunt. Christian Bergman 1 for 24 in his career with 2 sacrifices. Hundley at second, Barnes at first, and 1 out. Charlie Blackmon, the leadoff hitter, on deck. And Bergman bunts it. Fair ball. Murphy will handle it. And they get the out at first. 5-4 on the sacrifice, moving runners to second and third. During tonight's game, you can get interactive with SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, featuring pitch-by-pitch coverage, player cards, and in-depth stats. Check out SNY Game Day on SNY.TV, your online home of all things New York sports. Well, it may seem really odd to say it in the second inning of a 7-2 game, but this is a big hitter for Cologne.
Yes.
Base hit here by Blackmon makes it 7-4, and you're basically starting from near scratch. Get an out here, and you've got a 5-run lead. And you feel very differently.
And hoping that your team can pour it on.
Blackmon had a base hit to lead off the first inning, then got picked off first base by Cologne. Charlie Blackmon's having a mirror image season to what he had last year. Last year he had a huge first half, made the All-Star team, and slacked off the second half. This year, not so great the first half, but he's really been playing well, hitting .323 since the 4th of July. Hundley at third, Barnes at second, and 2 out. And Blackmon lead on that fastball, and it's 1-1.
Chased a high, hard one.
Gone to the 7th in Washington. Milwaukee 5, the Nationals 2. And Blackmon fouls it off, and now Cologne ahead 1-2. And Bart's throwing hard. 92 on that last fastball.
Well, Gary, I think from your lips to his ears, and you really didn't need to hear it from you. He's a veteran. He knows he has to get this out, how important it is. And here we are in the second inning.
Well, I wasn't really talking to him. I figured he knew. I was sharing with our audience. Yes.
Of course. That's our job.
Yeah, it's on TV and everything, Keith. Cologne ahead on Blackmon 1-2. And it's drilled to center field, but Cespedes is right there. And that retires the side. And so Cologne able to limit the damage in the second to the Paulson home run. And the Mets lead 7-2 after 2.
commerce out here in Colorado.
Why?
Well, it looks like we're trying to sell folks on the beauty of the Front Range.
Maybe we're helping the government. We're part of the tourist attraction.
Well, we should do that for New York too, shouldn't we?
We do. We show great shots of New York.
Okay.
We've seen them a million times over and over again, but they're wonderful.
Not quite like that.
Right.
Michael Conforto leads off in the third. Mets leading 7-2, facing Christian Bergman, who came on in long relief, and his curveball is in for a strike. Conforto had a walk in the middle of that 6-run second inning. John Gray went an inning and 2/3, allowed 7 runs, 8 hits, a walk, and no strikeouts. A hit batsman and a home run. And this is what happens when you've thrown so few innings in the big leagues. His ERA started the night at 2.40, ends the night at 5.94. Ouch. Colon on deck. Conforto slices one foul, 1-2. Well, the Brewers just added a run in the top of the 7th and lead Washington 6-2. Meanwhile, in Pittsburgh tonight, former Met Marlon Byrd, in his first at bat as a Giant, hit a 2-run homer.
How about that?
Good for Marlon. Little tapper. Bergman off the mound. And Conforto retired one away. Also in that game for the Giants, Madison Bumgarner hit his 5th home run of the season.
And the record for single season was 9?
9, Wes Ferrell.
Wes Ferrell, correct.
Several other pitchers have had 7.
Newcomb, Earl Wilson, I recall.
Mike Hampton, his first year in Colorado, hit 7 home runs.
Don Drysdale. And that's Dodger Stadium where that ball didn't travel back then.
Of course, pitchers made a lot more starts and got a lot more at bats in those days.
Yes, they did.
Here's Colon, who should stay out of the way. That looks like he's not even inclined to get the bat off his shoulder this time, after getting plunked on the right wrist, trying to bunt in the second inning. And he takes a rip, grounds one out to Reyes. 2 out. Keeps everybody guessing, doesn't he?
He's very cagey. He doesn't take a bad swing.
And doesn't run any harder than he has to.
And he treats that bat very nicely. He doesn't throw it in the ground.
He did throw it down eventually,
but he places it nicely. He doesn't take it out on the bat.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Granderson, who had a base hit to center field to drive in the go-ahead run in the second inning. Curtis in the 3rd inning, getting his 3rd plate appearance. And Bergman falls behind him, 2-0. Christian Bergman out of the University of California, Irvine. An anteater. Speed pitch, 2-1.
Aardvark.
I think anteater's a better name. Aardvark's a little harsh. Hi, I'm an aardvark. It's hard to spell. You got that double A. Granderson to center field, and he's got his 2nd hit of the night. So Curtis is 2 for 3, and the Mets have their 9th hit.
Nice hitting, Curtis.
Everybody loves coming to Coors Field.
Where were you back in the 80s and 70s, Coors Field? I missed you.
You know, I was here at the game last night watching the Rockies and the Nats, and it was an airtight 3-2, well-pitched game. Johan Flande and Max Scherzer. Runs were hard to come by. This is more typical of the Coors Field experience. 2 high to Murphy, 1-0. Wayne Randazzo and Chris Majkowski and I sat on the rock pile out in center field.
Way up top?
About 600 feet away from home plate. It was dead on to the plate so you could see the pitch as well, but it's a long way away. Murphy pops one up. And Reyes waiting for it to come down. That retires the side. A hit and 1 left. Middle of the 3rd at Coors Field. That's the rock pile. That's where we were last night, right there.
listen to the Mets blog Q&A cast presented by Citi, where Matt Cerrone chats with Kevin Kernan of the New York Post. Mets blog presented by Citi, part of the SNY.TV blog network. Home third inning, 7-2 New York. Jose Reyes will lead off against Bartolo Colon. He's given up a couple of solo home runs tonight. Gotten hit on the wrist by a pitch, but has a 5-run lead in the third inning.
Identical score in Washington, 7-2 Milwaukee in the 7th. Mets might have a chance to move to 5 games in front. We're not getting ahead of ourselves, but it's there.
Sounds to me like you're getting ahead of yourself.
The opportunity's there. Go out and grab it. Grasp it.
Well, we talked about it during the Open tonight, that within this easiest schedule in baseball that the Mets have statistically, they are starting a stretch tonight of 13 straight games against teams that are currently in last place in their division. These 3 with the Rockies, 4 in Philly, 3 with the Red Sox at home, and then 3 more with the Phillies. Johnson gets in front of it. Reyes half stepping to first base. Boy, you never used to see that from Jose. He did not run, and that's not the Jose Reyes we remember.
Yep, that's second gear, not even third.
I mean, he used to run everything out when he was a Met. And I know he's had leg problems over the years, but that's hard to watch. 1 out now, Carlos Gonzalez, who smoked a home run over the scoreboard in right field his first time up. Cargo had just 1 hit against the Mets in the 4-game series in New York, went 1 for 14. That was a home run. And now he's a home run his first time up in this series. 29 for the year, 25 since June the 1st. And that's the most in the majors over that span.
Very deep in the box, way off the plate. Watch where he strides.
Through the vacated space and into right center for a base hit. Well, the Mets didn't have the 3-man on the right side shift on against Cargo. They left that middle open and he took advantage.
Well, I've never seen so many ground ball base hits in my life. Watch that, how he strides and goes right into the pitch.
That has turned out to be some trade for the Rockies. Remember, they traded Matt Holliday to Oakland, where he only played for 1 year, and they've gotten back 7 years of Carlos Gonzalez. Here's Nolan Arenado, who popped up to short his first time up. 5 hits now against Colon. Nolan Arenado in his 3rd full year in the major leagues won Gold Gloves each of his first 2 years. One of only 5 players ever to do that in their first 2 seasons. There's your National League hitting leader since June the 1st. Carlos Gonzalez right on top in power categories, presented by DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code NYM for free entry. Nolan Arenado, one of the budding superstars of this game. It's this one deep to right center. Back in the gap is Cespedes. It's off the fence. Digging for third is Gonzalez. He's being waved home. The throw to the plate by Johnson on a hop. Not in time. It's an RBI double for Arenado to cut the Met lead to 7-3.
Another ball out over the plate, Garrett. Everything out over the plate, you get burned. Dan Worthen's going to come out and take a look. It's around a little over halfway up the wall there. Fargo really scored easily. It's pretty clear this ball is going to be in the gap, and he's on his horse right from the get-go. He kind of had it in 3rd gear. Almost cost his teammate an RBI.
It's okay if you don't run out ground balls at first base. You know, you make yourself look bad, but when you do things to your teammates like that, that's not good. Just about cost this guy an RBI.
And Paulson, who homered his first time up, will bat. It's a little hard to judge Colon right now. I mean, we mentioned at the outset tonight he's been up and down. One good start, one bad start. Coming off a good one his last time out. You're pitching at Coors Field where you're going to give up runs anyway. Then you factor in the wrist after being hit by a pitch, and you wonder how much of a factor that is. Paulson pops one up. That'll come back out of play.
Well, it makes me wonder, you know, Terry is a manager that, you know, how far to your heart you want Colon to get 5 and get a W, but how long is he going to keep him out there? These games are too important, Gary.
Yeah.
You know, if he hasn't got it, even though you're short in the bullpen, you got to hope that Colon can give you 6 at least.
Well, if he were to have to leave early, and we saw Sean Gilmartin get up when there was concern that he wouldn't be able to go back in the game after he got hit, you would need for a Gilmartin to run out there and give you 4 or 5 innings of long relief. Well, the Brewers have poured it on and scored 5 runs in the 7th inning, so they now lead the Nationals 10-2.
And this game is by no means or any stretch of the imagination over.
We're just getting started. Slapped to short, advancing to third Arenado. Flores will ignore him and throw out Paulson for the second out. Well, if you're just joining us, this is what we're talking about. Colon up there to bunt in the 2nd inning. And John Gray hit him on the right wrist.
A little below, more in the forearm, just underneath that wrist. There you see the bruise. There it is. Yeah. And that's ice. That away, Ray. Good job.
Whatever happened to ethyl chloride? The stuff
that
used
stuff
to
that was
spray
below,
on.
that never worked.
Never worked.
It was a little tank.
Right.
That cylindrical
Everybody
tank.
used to do that.
It was the biggest hoax ever. It didn't do anything.
TJ LeMahieu takes a strike. I mean, that used to be the thing. Every trainer had this little canister of ethyl chloride sprayed on, freeze the area.
Ice. Anyway, Ray knows his stuff.
Yes, he does. Way past the ethyl chloride days. LeMahieu had a comebacker his first time up. Colon made a nice play to snag it and throw him out.
The ethyl chloride was cold. It was cold. Bitter cold, but, you know, it was just on the exterior. It had no lasting power. So you were on first base, you got hit. By the time the trainer got back in the dugout, it was lost its effect.
Throbbing. 2-1 LeMahieu.
This might be an infield positioning, Gary, with this fast infield, where if you had an average runner, I'd be more inclined to play my middle infielders on the outfield grass a little bit.
LeMahieu, though, can run a little bit.
Right. I like where Kelly Johnson is at second base.
He tends to play a deep second. And Colon misses with a slider, and now he's behind 3-1 with Nick Hundley on deck. Colon has not walked a batter yet tonight. He walked 2 in his last start against the Pirates after going 4 straight starts without issuing a walk. Just 16 walks in 144 innings this year. Best control numbers in the league. But he's behind here 3-1 on LeMahieu. 3-2. He's throwing hard.
LeMahieu's got a very it's like a rickety gait kind of swing. It's not fluid. It's just disjointed to a degree, a slight degree. It works for him.
3-2. He fouls back the fastball at 92 from Colon.
Well, there's the view from way up high. There's the mountains in the background.
Three-two coming. Bouncing ball. Johnson to his right. Can't make the play, and that'll bring in a run. LeMahieu takes a turn. He'll hold it first. Arenado scores, and now it's 7-4 New York. And that faucet keeps dripping.
A lot of range to his right, and he should have made the play. I would rule that an error. I don't know. Probably give him a hit. I'm sure Kelly feels he should have made the play.
And they will score that an infield hit for LeMahieu. He drives in his 46th run. So 2 runs home in the inning. It's now a 7-4 game. And now Nick Hundley, who had a base hit his first time up. Mets 7 runs, 9 hits. The Rockies 4 runs, 7 hits, and we're in the 3rd inning. Who knows where this one goes? And a slider in for a strike. Brandon Barnes would be next. Watch out for LeMahieu. He's got 18 stolen bases this year. You don't usually run a lot in this ballpark because you can produce runs so quickly. But when you have the bottom part of the order up, you might be inclined to.
You don't want to run yourself out of an inning because it's just such a big outfield. Anything in the gaps with double, it's going to score a run.
0-2 to Hundley. And it just missed. 1-2. Red Sox beat up on Johnny Cueto tonight. Beat Kansas City 7-2.
Red Sox have been hitting.
Their young catcher Blake Swihart tonight went 4 for 4 with 2 RBIs. It's a very different looking Red Sox team that we'll see next weekend at Citi Field. Colon trying to find his way through this bottom of the 3rd with 2 runs home. One-two coming, and the slider off the plate. We're throwing a lot of breaking stuff in this inning.
I think he feels he has to use everything in his arsenal. I don't think he wants to throw it for a strike here. I think he wants to throw it as a pitch, a bait pitch, and hoping that the hitter will swing at a bad one.
On 2-2, Hundley ignores outside. Another slider from Colon, and now it's 3-2. I mean, just to put in perspective, Colon this season has thrown his fastball 85% of the time, but he's gotten away from that here in this inning. LeMahieu gets set to run. 3-2 to Hundley, and he walked him. First walk of the night for Colon. And now the tying run will come to bat. In a game the Mets led 7-1 moments ago. It's now 7-4, and Sean Gilmartin is up again in the Mets bullpen. Well, his first inning breezed by, but then after being hit by the pitch, he gave up a home run to Paulson in the 2nd and had to work out of further trouble, and he's given up 2 runs here in the 3rd. So again, how much of that is the wrist and how much of that is Colon's progression of the season and how much of that is Coors Field, who knows? All he knows is it's not coming easily.
He would like 7 outs.
He may not get that chance. Barnes reached on an error his first time up, and he whacks one foul. The pitcher Bergman is on deck, and there's nobody throwing in the Rockies bullpen, so if Barnes keeps the inning going, it appears Bergman will stay in. LeMahieu at second, Hundley at first, and 2 out. Well, second straight batter Colon's gotten ahead of 0-2. He was 0-2 on Huntley and then lost him to a walk. And Barnes goes down on strikes to end the inning. First strikeout of the night for Colon. But the Rockies creep closer with a couple of runs. After 3 at Coors Field, 7-4 New York. .com today. Here's tonight's T-Mobile Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag SNY Data Strong Fan, and you could see yourself on the broadcast like Joseph and his family. Thanks, Joseph. Well, they continue to work on Bartolo Colon's right forearm. Ray Ramirez putting the ice treatment on.
Whatever happened to the ice packs?
You wonder about something like that, Keith. Does it get worse as the night goes on? Here's Cespedes, who hit the grand slam back in the second inning.
Yes, because you've got a contusion, a bruise. So you got the small capillaries are bleeding. What the ice does is close up the capillaries.
Cespedes hits one out to center field. Blackman ranging back to the warning track at the wall. It's out of here! Yoenis Cespedes with his second home run of the night. Cespedes having a huge night, a double and 2 home runs, and the Mets have an 8-4 lead. Having fun at Coors Field. Yoenis Cespedes settling right into the thin air.
That's his 20th home run of the season. His 4th as a Metropolitan. And you hit it here, it's going to get out. And he crushed it. 22nd, excuse me, 22nd home run. And he's having himself a day.
Well, Cespedes had 2 home runs as a Met in his first 17 games. He's got home runs in back-to-back at bats tonight. A grand slam and now a solo shot. A 5 RBI night for Cespedes. 7th time in his career he's hit 2 in a game.
Ball out over the plate, and what's again, Gary, using center field, opposite field, not trying to pull.
Duda lifts one to shallow center, and Blackman should have this one easily. 1 out. This is the way Coors Field used to play when it first opened. You know, the Mets played the first ever game here, first ever regular season game, when Coors Field opened in 1995. And that first game was a home run festival that Dante Bichette won with a walk-off in the 14th inning. In freezing cold weather. Todd Huntley hit a grand slam. But since they went to the humidor, it's cut down on the home runs, because the balls aren't as rock hard now. They've got a little more life to them, like at sea level. But Cespedes and Gonzalez and Paulson tonight all making this place look small.
It's how I always remembered it.
Well, for years they had the Blake Street Bombers here. Larry Walker and Ellis Burks and Vinny Castilla, Andres Galarraga.
It's almost, you wonder, what is the best way to provide a winning team here? I mean, do you just overload it with offense and power like that team you just spoke of, or do you want sinker ball pitchers and defense? I don't know.
Well, here's what I would say. First of all, from a pitching standpoint, you either have to have strikeout pitchers or ground ball pitchers.
Right.
And from a defensive standpoint, I would load my outfield with the fastest guys you got, because I think that's where you lose games here, not on the home runs, but on all the balls that fall into the outfield. And you know, this runs contrary to the way most teams are built. I think you would look for your power from your infielders.
Explain.
Well, you need speed in the outfield. You're probably not going to get power from those guys.
Well,
so if you could build a Galarraga, Jeff Kent, Vinny Castilla kind of an infield, maybe that's how you get your power. Tough play for Arenado behind the bag, but he throws out Flores for the second out.
Not for Arenado, Garrett.
No, it doesn't seem like much is tough for him.
He had to negotiate the bag there. That was the tough part of that play. He wasn't sure if that ball was going to hit the bag or not. Got in front of it nicely on the throw. He's got a strong arm.
You know, the Nationals were here this week. Matt Williams, the Nationals manager, was a pretty fair third baseman in his own right. He said Nolan Arenado is the best third baseman he's ever seen.
That's high praise.
Johnson golfs one foul.
You're talking about Mike Schmidt, who was a perennial Gold Glover with the Phillies. But he may have a point.
And he's only in his third year. Good off-speed pitch by Bergman. 0-2 to Johnson. Johnson had 2 hits in the second inning. Led off with a base hit and had the last of the 6 hits in that second inning. One-two from Bergman, and Johnson punches one foul. Travis d'Arnaud would be next. John Gray started for the Rockies, and there was only one shade for Gray tonight, and it was dark. 7 runs and 8 hits over an inning and 2/3.
Dorian Gray. This kind of starts will age you. 8 earned runs in inning and 2/3. Don't look. 7, excuse me.
Full count to Johnson, and Kelly takes strike 3 called to end the inning. First strikeout of the night for Bergman, but the Mets add a run. Second home run of the night, 5th RBI of the night for Yoenis Cespedes. 8-4 Mets in the 4th.
Bottom 4 here in Colorado. Mets up 8-4, and anytime the team travels to the Mile High City, there's always a lot of talk about adjusting to the altitude here. Now, for the Mets part, the guys mostly don't do anything too different. The biggest thing that Ray Ramirez and his training staff keep pushing upon the guys is you have to hydrate. It can become so easy to get dehydrated here that all day long they've been telling them, even when you're not thirsty, make sure you're drinking water. Now, one thing that Kelly Johnson did say you want to try to avoid when you're playing in Colorado is doing any extra work before the game. He said this is not the series where you say, okay, I want to take 10 to 20 extra ground balls. You really have to do a good job of monitoring your own fatigue. But a lot of these hitters, they'll drink a little bit of extra water and they'll just do the normal amounts of work to be able to hit in this ballpark. Everybody obviously loves what it's like to hit here as Bergman grounds out to Kelly Johnson. But what Johnson said, which I thought was interesting about being a hitter here, is how much confidence you gain in batting practice. He said people don't really talk a lot about it, but you step up there and you get decent contact with the ball and it flies out, all of a sudden you're feeling as good as you felt all season long, and that always translates, in his opinion anyway, to the game, that confidence level you get from batting practice.
Well, I don't know how much water and how much batting practice Yoenis Cespedes took tonight, but he had only one career at bat in this ballpark before tonight, and he has taken to it quite nicely.
I agree with Kelly Johnson on the BP part of it 100%. It's not just, you don't come here and try to hit home runs in batting practice. I never did that in any park. But the line drives off your bat just really travel quicker. They do give you a sense of a confident feeling.
Blackman yanks one foul.
Now, as far as the extra work before a game, when I played at Mile High Stadium when I was a 19, 20-year-old kid, so I wasn't a 30-year-old, so I can't speak to that. But no matter what you do when you come here, I guarantee you, when you go first to third on a base hit, you're huffing and puffing. And you're in great shape. You can't get past that.
Blackman cracks one into right center, and that'll skid all the way back to the wall. Blackman can fly, but he'll pull in at second base with a one-out double. 26th double of the year for Charlie Blackman.
Sometimes I just think pitchers just say punt. What do I have to do to get people out here? And I just think going away is fool's gold.
Now Reyes, who's 0 for 2 tonight, fly down and grounded out. The interesting thing to me is, you know, we've watched these Rockies teams over the years swing with that great confidence that Kelly Johnson was talking about when they're in this ballpark, but it never seems to translate when they go on the road. So whatever it is that fuels that confident approach at the plate in this ballpark, it evaporates when they leave.
It also shows you, Gary, what the Mile High air is all about here. And we see the fast ballpark, the big gaps.
Reyes lifts one to shallow center, and Cespedes in. 2 out.
I mean, you've got to be really a disciplined hitter. How many hitters can come play here for a 10-day homestand and maybe alter your swing and try to get a little more lift, and then be able to translate and go on the road and go back to line drive mode, and you get in bad habits.
See, I don't know why you would want to lift in this ballpark.
I agree.
There's so much expanse in that outfield. If you hit line drives, you might hit 400.
Well, if you hit line drives, I'll go out of the ballpark too.
Right. Here's Cargo, who's got a home run and a single tonight. And Gonzalez slashes one foul. Well, Colon is trying to put up his first 0. He's got a 4-run lead, but he's given up runs in each of the first 3 innings. And trying to hold the tide here in the 4th. Blackman at second and 2 out. Gonzalez takes inside, a ball and a strike. Rockies begin the night 49-70 in last place in the National League West, and they're under 500 at home, 27-23, even though they've put up those big offensive numbers at home.
Oh, nice block. Not an easy play. Set up on the outside corner. The ball's on the inside corner. Very nice.
Not only that he gloved it, but that he moved his body,
Yep.
so that if he had missed it with the glove, he would have gotten his chest
Correct.
protector on it. A lot of times you'll see guys, when the ball's on the other side, reach, and that's not what Travis did. Did it properly. 2-1 to Gonzalez. And it's fouled off. 2-2. Well, there you see the home and road, the disparity in batting average and runs per game, but the ERA not as disparate. It's less than a run difference for their pitchers. So their pitchers have actually, for whatever reason, done better on the road and poorer at home.
But how much does it shake your confidence to pitch here and get, racky tacked like young John Gray did tonight?
Well, it's happened to everybody who's ever pitched here, that's for sure. But you look at a guy like Jorge De La Rosa, who is, the ace of their staff and the leading winner in Rockies history, and he's been able to put up consistently good numbers in this ballpark. And I think part of it is you have to be able to say, like Colon has to be saying to himself right now, I don't care how many runs I give up, I just have to stay in front.
W.
Yeah. And that's hard, a pitcher lives by his ERA, lives by those peripheral numbers as much as by wins and losses. But this is a park where you can only think about wins and losses. 3-2 coming, and Carago grounds one foul off the hand of Eric Young Sr. That's the kind of player first base coaches got to just decline, saying, I'm not going to be able to handle that one. Let it go by.
It wasn't hit that hard. You got to make an effort. That's the old competitive spirit right there.
Eric Young will always have a soft spot in Rocky fans' hearts. First home game ever at Mile High Stadium. He had a leadoff home run in the bottom of the first inning in front of 80,000 fans. Inside ball 4. Second walk given up by Colon. And that'll get Arenado to the plate with 2 men on. Sean Gilmartin has been doing some hydrating and some warming up in the Mets bullpen. So another big batter for Colon, trying to maintain his edge in this game. He's got a 4-run lead. Faces Arenado here with 2 out and 2 on. Arenado drilled a double off the fence in right center to drive in a run in the third. Blackman at second, Gonzalez at first, and 2 out. There goes Blackman, and the Mets let him go as Blackman steals third. His 32nd stolen base of the year. Gonzalez did not follow. It's only the 6th stolen base against Colon this season. Arenado gets under one to deep left center. Conforto back with Cespedes near the wall, and it's out of here. Nolan Arenado with a 3-run homer, and this is now a 1-run ball game. Arenado's 30th home run of the year. It's 8-7 New York. The 3rd home run Colon's given up tonight. And this Coors Field night has come to an end for Bartolo.
Right down the middle. And This is shaping up to be a typical Coors Field game.
Only the fourth inning, 8-7 New York. Colon is out. We'll be right back. Sean Gilmartin in to pitch to Ben Paulson, who swings and misses at a breaking ball, 0-1.
Well, there's Gilmartin's numbers, and he's going to be asked to eat a lot of innings tonight and hopefully protect the lead.
Paulson lifts one to right center. This one should be playable for Cespedes or Granderson, and Cespedes makes the catch. That ends the inning. But the 3-run homer by Nolan Arenado gets the Rockies within a run. 8-7 New York after 4.
Small ball doesn't exist too good here. My first game in this stadium, I was managing in Houston. We got a leadoff double. We bunted in the third. We hit a sacrifice fly and drove the run in, and they were laughing on the bench, on the other team's bench, because we bunted the guy over. So you got to be careful. I mean, here it can be a home run derby if there's in certain conditions. So you just got to, hopefully back off a little bit. Let them play.
Nothing small about the ball tonight. 5 home runs in the first 4 innings of this game. Mets have an 8-7 lead as we start the 5th. Travis d'Arnaud fouls one off. Mets led 7-1 after a 6-run top of the 2nd, but the Rockies have scored in all 4 innings and got 3 home runs to get themselves back in this game. d'Arnaud is 0 for 2 tonight. He made 2 outs in the 2nd inning. Meanwhile, in Houston tonight, Mike Fiers for the Astros has a no-hitter against the Dodgers with 2 outs in the 8th. Keep our eye on that. 1-2 coming. Breaking ball bounce foul. Fiers, who was a deadline acquisition for Houston from Milwaukee. He's the guy who hit Giancarlo Stanton in the face last year. Christian Bergman has been on since the 2nd. d'Arnaud hits one down the right field line. Cargo with a long run, and he gets there. Boy, he covers a lot of ground in a hurry.
Makes it look easy. Runs it down.
Two Gold Gloves, 3 Gold Gloves as a left fielder. And who knows, maybe he'll win one as a right fielder.
He's got that flat bill on his cap.
Jason Hayward won the Gold Glove in right field last year, right?
I believe you're right, yes.
Well, Cargo certainly has a shot at it. Here's Conforto bouncing one foul. Sean Gilmartin's out on deck. That's going to want some length out of him. And besides, Sean is a 1,000 batter in the big leagues.
Going to put it to the test.
Got a hit in St. Louis in that long game. Flared down the left field line, if I recall correctly.
Duck snort.
You were there, right? Seem to remember you being there.
Yes, I was there.
Driven to right center, and Cargo gets over this time and makes the catch going the other way. Not much getting by him. 2 out and nobody on. Sunday at Jets Nation Inside Camp, the crew recaps Ryan Fitzpatrick's performance tonight against the Falcons. Plus, is this a make or break season for Quinton Coples, and what motivates Leonard Williams? Janae Coakley finds out on Jets Nation Inside Camp Sunday at 8, only on SNY. So Gilmartin puts that 1,000 batting average to the test with 2 out and nobody on in the 5th. Mike Fiers is through 8. Struck out Jock Peterson to end the top of the 8th. So Fiers is a no-hitter going to the 9th. The Astros have a 3-0 lead in that game in Houston. Glad we had a chance to graphically display the 1,000 batting average, because you never get a second chance at 1,000. It's very hard to maintain.
Look at that slugging percentage.
It's 1,000.
Jesus,
it's a small sample.
I'd love to have that.
Even gets the borderline calls. 2-2 from Bergman, and Gilmartin bounces one toward the middle. LeMahieu with a nice stop, and he throws him out. It took a Gold Glover to ruin Gilmartin's 1,000 batting average. He was almost 2 for 2 halfway through 8-7 Mets. slugfest here. 5 home runs in the first half of this game. NYN Cespedes 3 for 3, a double, a grand slam, 2 homers, 5 RBIs. But Nolan Arenado hit his 30th home run, a 3-run shot to get the Rockies within a run. And Sean Gilmartin, who got the final out in the 4th, will stay on for the 5th to try and protect that 1-run lead. It's a final now in Washington. The Brewers beat the Nats 10-3. So for the moment, the Mets 4.5 games up on Washington. First pitch breaking ball in for a strike to DJ LeMahieu, who had an infield hit to drive in a run in the 3rd inning, 1 for 2. LeMahieu, Hundley, and Barnes 6, 7, and 8 in the Rockies batting order. The pitcher due up 4th in the inning, and they've got the bullpen going. Hit hard. That's a base hit for LeMahieu to start the home 5th. So LeMahieu has his 2nd hit of the night, and each team now in double digits in base hits.
Just out of the reach of Murph.
So the tying run at first and nobody out, and now Nick Hundley, who's been on base twice with a single and a walk. Bartolo Colon lasted 3 2/3, gave up 7 runs and 9 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout, 3 home runs. Got hit on the wrist in the 2nd inning, and nothing went well for him after that. And I guess we'll have to wait till after the game to find out just how much that shot to the forearm was a factor for Bartolo. I have a feeling he'll try and downplay it.
I think it'll be fine if it's not broken. I'm sure they're going to probably X-ray it too. I'm sure it's okay.
Yeah, it's doubtful he could have thrown 92 miles an hour if it was fractured.
You never know. You just want to be sure. I remember, Gary, when I hate sorry to interrupt, when I played early in my career in St. Louis was one of the only few parks that had an X-ray machine underneath at the stadium. We had to cart you off somewhere to get to a hospital to get X-rays.
Good off-speed pitch by Gilmartin, 1-1.
Changeup.
That's been his difference maker this year.
Sure has. It's given him a 3rd pitch.
And a good weapon against the right-hand hitters.
Everybody, I guess my feeling is the circle change is a pitch that you can learn pretty quickly.
Ball gets loose out in the outfield. Granderson has to go retrieve it. One-two coming. This is away with a fastball. 2-2 to Hundley. Well, in a year where the Mets bullpen for the season has outperformed what you might have expected, with all the injuries and suspensions and comings and goings they've had to deal with, overall the Mets bullpen is 3rd in the National League in ERA.
Yes,
but the trend is going in the wrong direction. Bullpen has given up runs in 5 straight games now. And you have to think that Sandy Alderson is out looking for more help. That's hit toward the gap in left center field, and that'll go all the way back to the wall. LeMahieu digging for 3rd. He's going to be waved home with the tying run. Trying for 3rd is Hundley, and he'll make it easily with an RBI triple. This game is now tied at 8. Fifth triple of the year for Nick Hundley, and the Rockies have come back from 6 runs down to tie.
Big hanging change, inner half up. And Hundley not a great runner. You get that ball in that gap out there. That's a big trips.
So it's now 8-8, and the Rockies have the go-ahead run at 3rd with nobody out. Mets will play their middle infielders back, trying to choke off a huge inning. Brandon Barnes, the batter, takes the curveball inside. Barnes has reached on an error and struck out 0 for 2. Kyle Parker is out on deck to pinch hit for Bergman. So John Gray off the hook. So the shade of gray has lightened just a tad for Mr. Gray.
He is ND.
Christian Friedrich, the lone lefty in that Rockies bullpen these days, is up and getting ready. 1-2 to Barnes.
Well, it's back to square one, Gare, and then the Rockies had a good chance to get up a run here.
So 6 straight games now, the Mets bullpen has given up at least a run. One-two coming, and Barnes goes down swinging on the changeup. That's a big strikeout for Gilmartin, the first out of the inning.
Second strikeout for Barnes. Chases a bad change.
So now Kyle Parker will be the pinch hitter. Former Clemson quarterback will bat for Bergman with the go-ahead run at third. And whereas with nobody out, the Mets played the middle infield back. Now Terry Collins is going to bring the infield in with 1 out.
Interesting.
Hundley at third and 1 out. And Parker lifts one shallow right field. Tagging at third is Hundley. Granderson trying to get behind it. Here comes Hundley. Here comes Granderson's throw on the hop. The tag by d'Arnaud. He got him. The Rockies might challenge it, but Granderson, if it stands, would have his 8th outfield assist of the season. d'Arnaud able to pick up this difficult hop and get the tag down. At least that's what home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney said. We'll see whether the folks in New York agree.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's safe. He missed the tag on the initial thrust, and it certainly appeared Hundley got his hand on the plate.
Oh, he might have got the lead. He might have got his right leg.
Before the hand hit the plate?
Yep. Let's see. Watch his right foot. Got him right there. Maybe it went over the top of it. That's not a, that doesn't show it.
It's going to be a tough one.
Right
there.
Here
You go. Where did the tag hit the leg?
That's going to be tough to overturn.
I think they're going to overturn it.
Okay, we'll see.
We'll see.
It's a tough one.
If they overturn it, the Rockies would have the lead.
I know.
If they don't, the inning is over. Play under review brought to you by Mazda.
Is it conclusive? I mean, that the angle is the one from behind home plate.
Let's see if this is a different angle. Let's see if this shows anything.
Terrific play by on the catch from the throw.
Yeah, I think his hand hit the plate before the glove hit that inside of the knee.
It depends right there. If he got the foot, then it's before the hand and he's out. It's a tough one. It's a tough call.
Meanwhile, give credit to Granderson and to d'Arnaud. That was a tough pickup for Travis on that one hopper.
Well, the key for Granderson, who does not have his. Oh, that is a terrific shot right there, Your Honor.
Well, they're taking their time, watching every available angle because it's awfully close.
It's a great throw by Granderson. Look at this here. Did he tag him? This is the angle. I don't think he did, Gary.
Well, he got him eventually, but the question is, did he get him before the hand hit the plate?
Right there. Did he?
No, he didn't get him until he got the inside of the knee.
Then he's safe.
The back of the knee is where he tagged him for the first time.
Then he's safe.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he's safe.
Tough call.
Tom Hallion's crew and Jeff Kellogg's crew are in the bunker. trying to make the determination as to whether the Rockies have taken the lead or whether the Mets have a double play and the inning is over. And now they've figured it out, and we'll know in a moment. And he's out. They do not overturn the call. Wow. Okay. Granderson gets credit for the assist. The Mets turn a 9-2 double play, and somehow this game is still tied 8-8 as we go to the 6th. It's gone. Looked for a moment as though they may have fallen behind, but Curtis Granderson throwing out Nick Hundley at the plate. Christian Friedrich on to pitch the 6th inning, and Granderson leads off for the Mets and takes ball 1. Curtis is already 2 for 3 in this game. Singled and a run in the 2nd inning. And that's grounded into the shift. LeMahieu is there to sweep it up. 1 out. And meanwhile, Mike Fiers has just thrown a no-hitter for the Houston Astros. He struck out Justin Turner to end it. Chase Utley in his first game as a Dodger made the 2nd out in the 9th. And the Astros beat the Dodgers 3-0. A no-hitter for the former Brewer, now Astro, Mike Fiers. Congratulations to him. And that means with the Dodger loss that the Giants are only a game and a half out of first place. They beat the Pirates tonight. Ball 1 to Murphy. Murphy is 1 for 3, singled and a run in the 2nd inning. Christian Friedrich, 28 years old, out of Eastern Kentucky University, the only lefty in that Rockies pen. Boone Logan, who had such a rough time against the Mets in the series in New York, is now on the disabled list.
He had just a horrific series, Boone Logan.
Friedrich behind 2-0 on Murphy, who hits one in the air down the right field line, but that'll hook and go foul. Game that's already featured 5 home runs. Cespedes has hit them both for the Mets and driven in 5. He's on deck. That's outside to Murphy, 3-1. Murphy's on a first name basis with every umpire in baseball.
You don't know that.
That's ball 4. Murphy's on with a walk. Let's check in with the studio. Doug Williams has a game break brought to you by Honda. Well, anything but a no-hitter here in Colorado. It's been an everybody hitter, particularly Yoenis Cespedes, who has 3 extra base hits tonight, a double, an opposite field grand slam, and a solo home run his last time up. Now facing the lefty Friedrich for the first time.
If you threw a no-hitter in this ballpark, that would be monumental.
It's been done. Hideo Nomo did it.
That's right. Monumental.
Cespedes deep to right center. Back goes Blackman near the wall. It's out of here! Third home run of the night for Yoenis Cespedes. And the Mets go back in front 10-8. Unbelievable. 3 home runs, 4 extra base hits, 7 runs batted in for Yoenis Cespedes, who's even wowing himself.
The nights you dream of.
First career 3 home run game for Cespedes, the third Met to hit 3 home runs in a game this season, and the Mets are back out in front. Wow, what a night.
Going the opposite field again, Gare. All 3. Not trying to pull.
Duda pops one up. Arenado, the only man on that side, gets over in foul ground to grab it. And there are 2 out. Combine a strong man and thin air, and this is what happens.
Just using the opposite field. First home run to right center, second home run to dead central, and this one to right center. Get him on track. This could be the guy that can ignite this club or carry it.
Well, he's going to get at least one more at bat tonight. In July, Kirk Neuenhuis hit 3 home runs in a game, the first Met ever to do it at home. A couple of weeks later, Lucas Duda did it again at Citi Field, and now Cespedes, the third Met to hit 3 home runs in a game this season. And a chance, perhaps, to become the first to hit 4. By the way, the Mets club record for RBIs in a game is 9. We saw Carlos Delgado do that at Yankee Stadium. Slowly hit to Reyes at short. And he throws out Flores to end the inning, but the Mets go back in front on Yoenis Cespedes' 3rd home run of the night. Grand slam, solo, and now a 2-run shot to put the Mets back in front. 10-8 going to the bottom of the 6th at Coors Field. Field. I'd say he's settled in here rather nicely. A double and 3 home runs in his first 4 at bats, a 7 RBI night, and he single-handedly has boosted the Mets to a 10-8 lead.
It's a beautiful thing coming here and getting red hot. He's got 2 more games after this.
Charlie Blackmon hits a shot on 1 hop to Johnson, and Gilmartin gets the first out in the bottom of the 6th. So 1 out and nobody on. Now Jose Reyes coming up. You know, when the replay officials make a call and they uphold the call, they have 2 ways of expressing it. They can say either the call stands, which means they had no evidence to overturn it, or they can say it's confirmed, which means that they're sure that the call was correct. I assumed that on that play at the plate they were going to say the call stands because they couldn't figure it out. They couldn't have the evidence. They're saying the call was confirmed, which means they're saying that for certain there was a tag made before the hand hit the plate.
Okay.
Interesting.
Now I have an interesting tidbit for you here, and I cannot take credit for this. Our good friend Russ Welken called it, texted me. If Cespedes hits a 3-run home run, he hits a home run, 4, not only 4, but a cycle of home runs.
Nobody's ever done that.
Nope.
There have been, what, 12 4-home run games in history?
Nope.
16th. Behind the times. Chased by Reyes, and Gilmartin has his 2nd strikeout. I think Josh Hamilton has the last 4 home run game, and I think Sean Green has the last one in the National League, if I'm not mistaken. So 2 out and nobody on. That was in 2002, the last time a National Leaguer hit 4 home runs in a game, and that was Sean Green. Well, there's not been a 1-2-3 inning on this side of the ledger. Christian Bergman had a 1-2-3 inning against the Mets in the 5th. But to get it, Gilmartin's going to have to get through Carlos Gonzalez, who has homered, singled, and walked tonight and scored 3 runs. By the way, the Mets now with 3 home run games this season. That's now 12 in club history. There's been 1 other Met to hit 3 home runs in a game in this ballpark, and that was Carlos Beltran in 2011. He had a 3 home run game here at Coors Field.
I have a feeling if Mike Piazza had played here the great majority of his career, he would have done well. Dave Kingman would have feasted here.
Well, Piazza got to play here quite a bit when he was a Dodger.
That's a good point. You're right.
Both at Mile High and at Coors Field, playing in the National League West. David Wright has great career numbers in this ballpark. It's probably why David would have liked to have joined the Mets this weekend, but he'll have to wait until the Mets get to Philadelphia. David's got 10 career home runs in 36 games in this ballpark. David, by the way, had 3 hits in his rehab assignment in St. Lucie tonight.
Leave those A-ball pitchers alone.
Swing and a miss, and Gilmartin gets the side in order with a couple of strikeouts after being given the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Nice job by Gilmartin. On to the 7th we go, with the Mets up 10-8. Rocky Mountain oysters? Local delicacy.
Yes, it is. I've had them as someone played a trick on me when I was a 19-year-old whippersnapper.
They're very tasty if you don't think about where they came from.
Exactly.
Well, this has been exactly what is pictured there. A slugfest at Coors Field. Yoenis Cespedes has had the big night with 3 home runs and 7 runs driven in. The Mets far from home free with a 10-8 lead going to the 7th, and the former Met Gonzalez Herman will come on to pitch for Colorado.
Well, how about that? Gonzalez back up into the big leagues. This is the second time up this season. Hasn't fared well here, but who does fare well in this ballpark?
He was with the Cubs earlier this year. Rockies got him on waivers about 6 weeks ago. Kelly Johnson first man up against him, and Herman starts him off with a fastball for ball 1. Herman was with the Mets in each of the last 2 seasons, and he had his moments. Never consistent, always walked too many. That's the good changeup to go with the fastball. And he misses with that changeup. 2-0 to Johnson with d'Arnaud and Conforto to follow.
I always felt that the hitters kind of caught on to Gonzalez. Just didn't have the good breaking ball. It was basically a 2-pitch pitcher.
Now 27 years old. He was in 25 games for the Mets last year. And the fastball for a strike, 2-1. John Gray lasted just an inning and 2/3, gave up 7 runs and 8 hits. Christian Bergman did well in long relief, 3 1/3, 1 run, 2 hits, but then Christian Friedrich gave up the 2-run homer to Cespedes in the 6th. So here's the research. There's never been a home run cycle in Major League history among the 16 players who've hit 4 home runs in a game. In other words, a solo, a 2-run, a 3-run, and a grand slam. It's been done only once in professional baseball history. In 1998 by Tyrone Horn of the AA Arkansas Travelers. That's it.
What a day.
So Cespedes, if he can get a couple of men on in his next at bat, would have a chance to have the first home run cycle in Major League history.
That's 10 ribeyes.
At least.
Wow.
Now the Major League record for RBIs in a game is 12. Foul tip and held by Hundley, and Johnson is a strikeout victim, 1 away. Gentleman Jim Bottomley with the Cardinals,
first baseman,
way back when. And then Mark Whitten tied that record. Whitten had the only 4 home run, 12 RBI game in Major League history for the Cardinals against the Reds.
Gentleman Jim Bottomley.
d'Arnaud is 0 for 3. Alonso Robles getting ready in the Mets bullpen. Sean Gilmartin has worked 2 1/3 in relief, giving up just 1 run, and is now pitcher of record on the long side. If you're just joining us, boy, did you miss a lot. Mets went up 7-1 with a 6-run second inning, fueled by Cespedes' grand slam. But Bartolo Colon, in the course of that inning, got hit on the forearm by a pitch while trying to bunt, stayed in the game, but eventually got knocked out in the 4th. The Rockies tied the game in the bottom of the 5th against Gilmartin. Could have taken the lead, but Granderson threw out Nick Hundley at the plate trying to score on a fly ball. And then Cespedes hit his 3rd home run of the game to put the Mets back in front in the 6th. And d'Arnaud dribbles 1 foul. Well, People's United Bank, we'll see if they can tote up all the numbers on tonight's starters. Not good on either side. Both Colon and Gray touched for 7 runs. No play for Mr. Gray.
It's an old one.
I would try to work popcorn into the conversation, but I can't do that.
Well, I haven't seen the commercial, so I don't recall Walt's punchlines there.
There's only one moment that matters in that commercial, and that's you and the look you give when you eat the popcorn. If anybody hasn't seen it, check it out. Outside, ball 3 to d'Arnaud. Michael Conforto on deck. Indians beat the Yankees for the second straight night, 7-3 behind Carlos Carrasco. So the Blue Jays, who are playing late, can get within a half game with a win. D'Arnaud hits one deep to center field, chasing Blackman back to the warning track, back at the wall. It's out of here. Travis d'Arnaud adds a home run, his 7th of the year.
Oh boy, this is like playing pinball.
11-8 New York. The Mets' 4th home run of the night and the first non-Cespedes version.
Fastball right down the piperoni. That's what happens.
7 home runs now in this game, 4 for the Mets, 3 for the Rockies, and a 3-run New York lead. Well, d'Arnaud was the only Met who hadn't reached base. Now he has, and now Conforto drives one deep down the line toward the pole, and it's out of here! Michael Conforto goes back to back. d'Arnaud and Conforto, and it's 12-8 New York.
Batting practice.
Well, Conforto may be back in the minor leagues tomorrow, but he left them with one to remember. A shot down the right field line for his 3rd big league home run. And the Mets' 5th home run of the night.
He just looks so comfortable on that one. He's trying to lift it here. It's down right in his wheelhouse. Oh my, no he didn't. I stand corrected. That's just right in his wheelhouse, and that was a bullet.
It's 6th time this year the Mets have hit back-to-back home runs. Here it's the 7 and 8 hitters, d'Arnaud and Conforto, who do the trick.
They're going to send up Uribe to pinch hit for Gil Martin.
First 5 home run game for the Mets this season. And now Uribe to pinch hit. 1 out of the inning. And Uribe taps one. Tough play for Herman. He barehands it, spikes it, and it's pulled out of the dirt by Paulson, and they get the out. Nice play by Herman. And a good play at the other end by Paulson as well.
Quick off the mound. Well, got to catch my breath here.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now Curtis Granderson gets his 5th plate appearance. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Scored a run, driven in a run. The Mets club record for home runs in a game is 7. They've got 5 tonight. That happened in 2005 in Philadelphia. And one of the prime participants that night is playing on the other side tonight. Jose Reyes had 2 of those 7 home runs for the Mets in that record-setting game. Victor Diaz hit 2. Mike Piazza hit 1. David Wright hit 1. And Doug Minkiewicz hit 1.
Oh, Dougie.
Tonight, Cespedes 3, d'Arnaud 1, Conforto 1.
And this game is by no means over.
No. Let's have 7 more offensive outs to play with. Cespedes is 2 batters away. If he's going to get a chance for the 3-run homer, then Granderson and Murphy would have to get on right now in front of him. Curtis chases 1, 3-2. Gonzalez Herman, the former Met, giving up a couple of solo home runs here in the 7th. Three and 2 to Granderson. And so Granderson does his job and gets on. Now if Murphy can get on, then
you have a shot.
You got a chance for history. Even if he hits one with nobody on base, that would still be
amazing,
historic.
17th player,
and the first Met.
Yes, well,
there have been plenty of guys who've played for the Mets who've had 4 home run games for other teams. Mike Cameron, Sean Green, Carlos Delgado, Willie Mays, but nobody's done it for the Mets. Scorched foul by Murphy. Murph is 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. He's driven in 1. He's scored 2. And there is the man on deck, working on an enormous night. One and one to Murph.
Boy, he's throwing balls right down the pipe.
'25th pitch of the inning upcoming for Jimenez. 1-2 to Murph. First to check on Granderson, who's not going anywhere. You kidding me? Gonna try and steal a base tonight? Where the ball's flying out of this ballpark?
No. Left-hand hitter up. I'm sure they're all aware of a 3-run home run's a cycle.
You think?
No.
I don't think they're thinking about
No,
that.
I don't think it's.
Murph's thinking about one thing.
Getting the base.
That's exactly right. One-two coming. Granderson runs. The pitch outside. Hundley's throw, and Granderson is safe.
Wow.
Well, that was a surprise. 10th stolen base of the year for Granderson. And Hundley got a great pitch to throw. It's almost like a pitch out.
Well, you know something? It's a 4-run lead in this ballpark. Doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, but you hate to run into an out here. That was close, but Granderson able to beat the throw. And Walt Weiss is coming out to talk to the home plate umpire. He does not have a challenge. He used his challenge on the play at the plate that was confirmed. So he can ask the umpires to review the call at second base. The second base umpire is Fielding Colbreth. He's the crew chief, and they're going to agree to check it out.
You know what? No, that's my call.
I don't understand that.
This is just absolute baloney.
First of all, he's safe. Second of all, unless Colbreth feels as though he blew the call, what possible purpose would they have for having an umpire review when the manager is out of challenges?
If I'm Terry Collins, I have to go out there and scream at them. Make the call. Stand by your call. This is what it's going to breed right here with all this stuff. It's baloney.
I mean, there's supposed to be a difference between challenging and asking the umpires for a review. And there's no reason for the umpires to review this unless Fielding Colbreth, who's making the call there and who is the crew chief, feels as though he might have blown it. Well, he didn't blow it. So why are they wasting time like this?
I'm not a happy camper, Gary.
I mean, what's the point of having
an umpire? We put robots out there.
What's the point of having a one challenge rule if this is what happens? This is like a second challenge.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, he's safe, right? Play under review brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters, but apparently the rules don't.
This is incredible.
If I were Terry Collins, I'd be out there screaming at the top of my lungs.
No, I would be out there screaming yes. I mean, come on, you've already had your challenge. Be a man, stick up to your call. Let's go. I had it right. Gosh.
Well, the headsets are coming off.
Yeah, you're exonerated.
And they confirm that he is safe. Well, we're going to have to find out about
This is
that. That's just wrong.
It's absurd.
Even if the call was wrong, it goes against the spirit of the rule. You're supposed to have one challenge, and if you lose it, you have no further challenge.
It just gives a trap door, a fail-safe for the umpires. And then they're not going to be firm in their convictions.
2-2 to Murphy with Granderson at second and 2 out. And Murph takes a changeup down. Full count.
If anybody has to be firm in their convictions, it has to be the umpires. You can't have wishy-washy out there umpiring.
Well, meanwhile, Murph trying to get on base in front of Cespedes, who's sitting on 3 home runs tonight. But Murph pops it up. And Reyes out to play it. That retires the side, but the Mets hit back-to-back home runs for the 6th time this year, and they do it on consecutive pitches. Travis d'Arnaud clears the center field fence for his 7th of the year. Very next pitch, Michael Conforto down the line for his 3rd. And the Mets lead 12-8. Zach Brown Band as part of their Jekyll and Hyde World Tour. Purchase your tickets at Mets.com/ZBB. Here's your Verizon trivia question for tonight. Mets home run record in a calendar month. Think on that. Meanwhile, the Mets have a situation here. Lucas Duda's come out of the game, and we're not sure why. Daniel Murphy moves from third base to first base. Juan Uribe, a pinch hit, stays in at third. And Hansel Robles will pitch. This does not help the Mets in terms of flipping their batting order, so there's got to be something wrong with Duda,
yes,
who missed a week with a lumbar strain and came back just earlier this week. Nolan Arenado, first man up against Robles, and that one kicks off d'Arnaud's mitt. Ball 1. Arenado's had a big night with an RBI double and a 3-run homer. His 30th home run of the year. Only the second Rockies third baseman ever to hit 30 home runs in a season. Vinny Castilla did it 6 times. And now Arenado at age 24 has his first 30 home run season. Good slider by Robles, and it's 1-1. Robles pitched Wednesday night in Baltimore and gave up a home run to Adam Jones in the 7th inning that tied the game.
I'm just still flabbergasted over that. I can't call it a challenge.
Umpire review.
Yes.
Meanwhile, Sean Gilmartin is in line to get the win in this game. He went 2 1/3, allowed 1 run, 2 hits, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Nice job of holding the fort by Gilmartin after he gave up a run in the 5th. Mets cut down the lead run at the plate and then went on a further home run barrage. Arenado strokes one out to right. Long run for Granderson. He'll have to play it on a couple of hops. Arenado heads to second, and he's in safely with his 3rd extra base hit of the night.
This is like two heavyweights just exchanging blows, and not one of them going down, or either getting knocked down and getting up and knocking the other guy down. Jeez.
So now Ben Paulson, who homered back in the 2nd inning. Rockies have hit 3 home runs of their own tonight. Gonzalez in the 1st, Paulson in the 3rd, and then Arenado a 3-run shot in the 4th that knocked Colon out of the game. Eric O'Flaherty up in the Mets bullpen. Mets 12 runs, 13 hits. The Rockies 8 runs and 12 hits. And Paulson takes high from Robles, ball 1.
Coming in to have a chat with Robles. It's a bit of what of Uribe's leadership.
Robles has shown flashes this year, but the consistency has been lacking, and Terry's been reluctant to put him into tight spots. But of late, he's had little choice because after Familia and Clipper, there's just not a really reliable arm out in that bullpen. Paulson with a big cut, 2-1. We mentioned earlier with the run that Gilmartin gave up in the 5th inning, that's 6 straight games now that the Mets bullpen has given up at least a run. DJ LeMahieu on deck. And Paulson foul tips the fastball, and it's 2-2.
2 fastballs right by him. Big long swing. And he's got a hard thrower. It's hard to catch up.
Arenado at 2nd and nobody out. 2-2 to Paulson, and he lifts one foul. Ben Paulson looking awfully different than when we saw him in New York last week. He had a huge beard, which he shaved off yesterday. Said he made a shaving mishap, which I guess meant he took too much off one side, so he had to take the whole thing off.
That happens. You're not very careful. You got to be professional when you do that.
What does that mean?
Well, a mustache, you can get one at one end lower than the other. Works for a mustache too.
Well, you could show up with one side shaved. It might be something of a conversation piece. And was that a balk called against Robles? Apparently so.
Yes.
So
this game has got everything.
Tossing in the kitchen sink. Judged not to have come to a full stop. And the balk was called by the second base umpire, fielded Culbreth. And the Mets didn't ask them to check it out.
Yes. Are you sure?
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. So Robles comes upstairs to fan Paulson for the first out of the inning.
Hard thrower. Paulson just has to start early because he knows he can't catch up, and he goes after a bad one.
So with a runner at 3rd and 1 out, DJ LeMahieu coming up, and we check in with Steve Gelb. Steve?
Gary, you mentioned a couple of times tonight the humidor where the balls are kept here at Coors Field, and clearly it's probably not working too well tonight, but it came into being here in 2002. But in 2011, an unnamed NL West team complained that there wasn't enough oversight in terms of balls getting from the humidor to the dugout as LeMahieu grounds out and the run does score, so it's a 12-9 game right now. But an NL West team complained that there wasn't enough oversight, and theoretically there could be some impropriety there. Maybe the Colorado Rockies get different balls than the opposition. So now, as of 4 years ago, there's a big-time chain of command. 15 minutes before the game, an MLB authenticator meets with the umpire's room attendant at the humidor. He watches him put the balls into the bag, then escorts the attendant to the umpire's room and then to the dugout, at which point the authenticator is positioned in the dugout next to the ball of bags, all to prevent a humidor gate scandal here at Coors Field.
No deflation in baseball.
And maybe the NFL should follow suit.
2 out and nobody on now. Nick Hundley. Hundley singled, walked, and then tripled in a run in the 5th. And then the key play in this game, trying to score on a fly ball to medium right by Kyle Parker, and Curtis Granderson threw him out at the plate. A call that survived replay to keep the game tied. Next half inning, Mets got Cespedes' 3rd home run of the night. They tacked on 2 more home runs after that, and now it's 12-9. And Cespedes will be leading off for the Mets when they come to bat in the top of the 8th, looking to become the first Met to hit 4 home runs in a game. Meanwhile, 2-0 to Hundley. There's a strike. Brandon Barnes on deck. Both teams having to dip into their bullpen early tonight. Put a lot of pressure on John Neese and Chris Russin, the lefties, tomorrow night. Neese has been pitching brilliantly for months. Russin is coming off a complete game shutout in his last start against the Padres, after pitching well against the Mets in his previous start. But in this ballpark, you just never know.
Well, John's 2 wins from getting his record back to 500.
Two coming. Too high. There are your city probables for the remainder of the series. The lefties tomorrow, and then Logan Verrett, his first big league start on Sunday in place of Matt Harvey, whose turn is being skipped. He'll be opposed by the former Atlanta Brave David Hale. 3-2 to Hundley. Drilled to the gap in right center, and that's going to go all the way to the wall. 3rd hit of the night for Nick Hundley. A single, a triple, and now a double. And the extra base hits just keep on coming.
Hit parade. 26 hits in this ball game, 13 from each side.
And half of those hits, 13 of them, have been for extra bases. The Rockies have 8 extra base hits tonight. The Mets have 5. All 5 of the Mets' extra base hits have been home runs. That's actually not true. Cespedes had a double, so make it 14 extra base hits in this game. Anyway, here's Barnes, who's 0 for 3, struck out his last 2 at bats. Goes after a fastball away, 0-1. Matt McBride is out on deck. He'll pinch hit if Barnes can keep the inning going. Mets have already let a 6-run lead get away in this game. They had a 4-run lead when this inning began. And Barnes fouls it away, and it's 0-2.
Barnes is having a tough day at the office. He hasn't swung the bat well at all. He and Jose Reyes are the only guys hitless in the lineup.
Barnes getting the start in left field. Rockies badly missing Corey Dickerson, their regular left fielder, is out with a rib injury and might miss the rest of the year. He was having a fine year. 0-2 from Robles. That's off the plate. Toronto's up 4-0 on the Angels in the 4th. Blue Jays can move within a half game of the Yankees with a win tonight. 1-2 coming, and Barnes takes the slider low and away. 2-2. This inning not going to bed easily for Hansel Robles, who's given up 2 doubles, bracketing a balk in this inning. This is the 14th half inning of this game, and there have been runs in 11 of the 14 half innings. 2-2. Foul back.
Well, the Mets have scored in all but 2 runs. Rockies have scored in all but 1.
And that leads to that mess.
A lot of crooked numbers.
At the racetrack, we call them boxcar numbers.
Trifecta.
Again, the 2-2 to Barnes. Bouncing ball. Hundley got out of the way. Flores makes the play. Side retired. Rockies get just the 1 run. Yoenis Cespedes goes for history when we go to the 8th inning. Already tonight, a grand slam, a solo homer, a 2-run homer. What's he got left in the arsenal? Most home runs in a calendar month.
King Kong.
It's a tie. Kingman and Carter.
Mr. Cartier.
Nice fake waterfall. There's been nothing fake about the home runs tonight. We've seen 8 of them. 3 of them from one man. And that one man's about to stride to the plate to face Tommy Kahnle, the Latham, New York native, who will try to become the first guy tonight to hold Yoenis Cespedes in check. Cespedes, a double, a grand slam, a solo homer, and a 2-run homer, 4 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs as he leads off in the 8th. And swings at the first one with a massive cut.
Big rip. You get the idea.
Well, Kahnle started him off with a fastball, but Kahnle, a guy who relies quite a bit on his changeup. Better get in a good spot. Cespedes started the night with 2 home runs as a Met. He now has 5. Trying to become the 17th player in Major League history and the first Met to hit 4 home runs in a game. One and 2.
7 RBI night.
Those are hard to come by. He already has his first career 3 home run game. Now it's 2-2. Pitcher spot is due up next, and the former Rocky Michael Kadire is out on deck to pinch hit. Michael had a lot of hellos and hugs to exchange today in his return to Coors Field. 2-2 from Canely to Cespedes, and he bounces one over the bag, just foul. We have not gotten any word on Lucas Duda, by the way. Duda came out of the game in the last half inning. And we do not see Lucas in the dugout, so you have to believe that something's bothering him, perhaps the back that kept him out this past week. Two and two to Cespedes. He's getting some hacks, isn't he?
Yes, he is. He's not getting cheated.
No rally parakeet in sight, but he's got that yellow sleeve going. That drew so much attention. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming from Canely. And Cespedes pokes one through the right side for his 5th hit of the night. Well, no home run, but with the shift swung over to the left side, Cespedes has a 5-hit game, the first for the Mets since Ronnie Polino.
Oh, just good hitting right there. And really with 2 strikes for going the home run here. He just was a wicked pitch. That's not a ball you can drive out of the ballpark. Nice night. And the way this game's going, it may not be over.
Nice hand for Michael Kadire as he comes to bat as a pinch hitter. Kadire hitting for the pitcher in the 4th spot in the order. Kadire spent 3 seasons with the Rockies, won a batting title here, and overall in his 3 years with the Rockies hit .329 at Coors Field with a .591 slugging percentage. So he was able to thrive in this ballpark. To the right side, and that'll be run down by LeMahieu, and the spinning toss gets Kadire. Yeah, LeMahieu, the Gold Glover, covers a lot of ground, and that's the first out as Cespedes goes to second.
Well, he sure does. Up the middle, ball not hit hard. Long way to go. Nice play.
So 1 away. Cespedes now at second. Wilmer Flores the batter. Flores is 1 for 4, singled back in the second. Now on the press box is still confused about that challenge on the stolen base at second. They just announced it as a manager's challenge, which it wasn't.
No, it couldn't
and
possibly
then they
be.
corrected themselves and said it was a crew chief challenge, which it was. Cespedes takes off, and he adds a stolen base to his ledger. Well, he's already got his first career 5-hit game, his first career 3 home run game, and now he has his 7th stolen base of the year.
Well, we said he had all 5 tools, and they're on display tonight. After the double clutch on the throw from Hundley, a good pitch to steal on, breaking ball down in the dirt.
In basketball, they call it a stat sheet filler. He is that tonight. Infield now has to come in with 1 out, 1-1 to Flores. And Wilmer hits it down the right field line, slicing away from Gonzalez toward the corner. Foul. Ball just kept slicing and wound up foul in the corner as Wilmer was running it out.
That's a Lee Trevino slice. So
I thought Lee did that on purpose.
He did do it on purpose. Lee Trevino said you can always play a slice, but you can't play a hook. So 3-run lead, Gary. So the stolen base was important. It's a big run to get right there. Big run.
Hey, you have to score as many as you can in this ballpark. You can't have a let up. Not when it's flying like it is tonight. Canley needs a strikeout. This is low to Flores, 2-2. Kelly Johnson, the on deck batter. Canley, who grew up in Latham, New York, up in the Albany, Troy area. And Wilmer lines one down the line. That'll be in for an extra base hit. Cespedes scores. Flores heads to second. He slides in safely with an RBI double, and it's 13-9 New York.
Oh boy, what a pitching staff. 5 runs now added on to Cespedes' night to go with the 5 for 5 and the 3 home runs and the 7 RBIs. What a night.
I'm not sure what else he could do.
Nope.
Maybe he could throw out a couple of runners at the plate, make a leaping catch at the wall, sell some popcorn, catch a canary.
There's been bullets hit around this ballpark all night.
28 hits now in this game.
And you got an team ERA over 5, and they've added on to this.
Well, the Rockies bullpen has been just dreadful. They had a really good night last night. 2 scoreless innings to hang on for a 3-2 win over the Nationals. But in their previous 9 games, their bullpen allowed 37 runs in 24 innings. And they've given up 6 runs tonight. Kelly Johnson 2 for 4. There have now been 15 extra base hits in this game. The Rockies have 8 extra base hits and the Mets have 7. And he has 4 of them. A double, 3 home runs, added a single, 7 RBIs, 5 runs scored, and a stolen base. And a partridge in a pear tree.
This will put your defenders asleep. This is also a pitching staff, Gary, and you noted it earlier, that is the most walks given up, the least amount of strikeouts, and the most home runs.
That's a scary combination. And that's the thing, you know, we talked earlier about the kind of team you need to put together here in Colorado. You either need ground ball pitchers or you need strikeout pitchers.
You don't need pitchers that walk people. But I think that the pitchers eventually just get worn down and get gun shy.
And there's ball 4 to Johnson. So a 4-pitch walk. And 2 men aboard for Travis d'Arnaud. Let's check in with Doug Williams in the studio. He has another game break brought to you by Ford. So the Mets with a win tonight can open up a 5-game lead. That would be their largest lead of the season over the Nationals.
And all you Met fans at home, don't get too uppity now.
Still got a quarter of the season to go.
But you can feel very happy and smug a little bit if you want. But keep it under your hat.
What's the difference between smug and uppity exactly?
I'm just throwing words out.
I see. d'Arnaud homered over the center field fence his last at bat. His 7th of the year. Tommy Kahnle with a mess. He's already given up a run in this inning. And he's got 2 aboard for d'Arnaud with only 1 out. Flores no threat to steal a base. But having already given up a steal of third, Kahnle is aware of him.
I mean, they're just taking rip after rip. Doesn't someone have to get knocked down? Or and this is just, they're up there like taking swings like BP home run derby.
Well, that's what it's been, right? 8 home runs tonight, and the average distance of the 8 home runs 424 feet. The average.
Confound it.
Confound that altitude. Tonight's power hitters brought to you by East Coast Power and Gas. And there's been plenty of power to go around tonight.
Plenty of gas. High altitude, you know, it'll do it to you.
Oh, 2 to d'Arnaud, and he takes the fastball high. Michael Conforto on deck. Tyler Clippard, Eric O'Flaherty up in the Mets bullpen. One-two coming, and he struck him out with a high fastball. So Kahnle has his first strikeout. It's only the 3rd of the night for Rockies pitching. Now 2 out of the inning for Conforto. Well, we've mentioned a couple of times tonight that Michael Conforto might be back in the minor leagues as early as tomorrow. And if he's leaving, he certainly left on a high note with his last at bat. A crushing home run inside the right field foul pole, his 3rd big league home run. 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. And in case you're wondering why tomorrow, well, the answer is apparent in front of you. The Mets are playing shorthanded in their bullpen because Logan Verrett's going to start Sunday in place of Matt Harvey, and the Mets desperately need to add a bullpen arm tomorrow, and it will probably be Conforto who goes down to make room, and then he'll be back in 10 days. And then in all probability that bullpen arm goes back to the minors when David Wright is ready to rejoin the Mets, presumably Monday in Philadelphia.
I will be leaving you for that 4-game series. Ronnie takes the series.
He still works for us?
Yeah.
Usually we say that about you. It's long hiatuses. Is it hiatuses? Or hiati?
Leave of absence. But I'll pick you up the homestand.
Well, for Ronnie, this week has been his extended birthday festival.
Yes, that's true.
His birthday on Wednesday, and you know, he needs some time to celebrate.
I always have more time off the first half, and I always get backloaded in the second half.
Conforto fouls it back. Well, we're happy to have you as much as we can have you.
Well, I like what I do. I like being here too.
How many if you called 81 games a year in this ballpark?
Oh, can you imagine?
It used to be worse. 1-2 to Conforto. Grounded down to first, and Paulson's got it. That retires the side. Mets tack on a run on the Flores RBI double. Middle of the 8th, a mile high, 13-9 New York. My broadcast will be Monday night when the Mets begin their series in Philadelphia. 6 o'clock the coverage, Citizens Bank Park, Monday night, Mets and Phillies, right here on SNY. Changes for the Mets. NYN Cespedes moves from center field to left field. Juan Lagares will come in to play center. He'll bat number 4 in the batting order. And the new pitcher, Tyler Clippard, will bat 8th.
Well, Tyler in his familiar role, the bridge, and even though Colon did not get out of the 4th inning, Gil Martin provided 2 1/3, giving up 1 run. Nice job out of the bullpen. Robles with 1. They got it to the 8th inning to the back end of their bullpen.
Matt McBride is the pinch hitter, leading off in the home 8th and takes a strike. McBride 2 for 16 since he was called up when the Rockies were in New York last week. It's a 4-run lead, but in this ballpark you kind of suspend how you use the back end of your bullpen and don't necessarily base it on the margin. McBride lifts one to center and Lagares comes on just into the game. He gets his first chance, 1 out. By that I mean normally if you've got a 4, 5, 6 run lead, you rely on somebody other than your prime relievers to pitch the 8th and 9th. In this ballpark though, you're up by 5 or 6 runs, or in this case 4 runs. You go with your big guys.
Yes, no doubt. 28 hits,
15 extra base hits, and one of the biggest offensive nights that any Met has ever had for NYN Cespedes. Charlie Blackmon is 2 for 4 tonight, a single and a double. He's stolen a base, he's scored a run. The biggest offensive night for any player in Mets history was for Edgardo Alfonso in the Astrodome. He went 6 for 6 with 3 home runs and scored 6 runs. That's hard to beat. Blackmon pulls one foul. Now he didn't drive in 7 runs like Cespedes has tonight, but I'd still give that night the edge, particularly because the Astrodome was such an impossible place to hit home runs. Now if Cespedes picks up a 6th hit tonight, he might be in the running. 5 for 5, 5 runs scored, 7 RBIs, 3 home runs. But it's definitely in the top 3 for best offensive night any Mets ever had. Delgado's 9 RBI game has to be in there. Three and 1 to Blackmon. Rafael Betancourt up now in the Rockies bullpen. Imagine being Walt Weiss and having to deal with this bullpen all year. That's outside, ball 4. Clippard very annoyed at the rookie home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney. Thought for sure he was going to get a strike there. So Blackmon is on base for the 3rd time tonight. One out and 1 on for Reyes, who's had a rough night tonight. Amongst all the hitting, Jose has gone 0 for 4 after a 3-hit game last night against the Nationals. Jose struck out his last time up against Sean Gilmartin. That was batting right-handed, now back to batting lefty. And fouls back the fastball from Clippard. Jose's always been a better left-hand hitter, but he's been much more imbalanced this year. He's hitting .307 lefty, only .242 righty.
more power from the left side.
4 of his 5 home runs have come left-handed this year. There goes Blackmon. The throw by Darno. He better be safe. Down by 4 runs in the 8th inning. Second stolen base of the night for Blackmon, his 33rd of the year.
Well, you just kind of, I don't know what to say about that. I mean, that's just it's not, I don't think it's a good play.
1-1 to Reyes with Gonzalez on deck. Changeup foul back, and it's 1-2. This is a big batter for Clippard because Reyes gets on and Gonzalez can make it 13-12 in a hurry. Cargo's already hit 1 home run tonight. Rockies hit 3 home runs in the first 4 innings against Bartolo Colon. The bullpen has been able to keep them in the ballpark so far. And Reyes slaps one right at Flores. Blackman will move over, but Reyes is out. He's 0 for 5. Blackman to third and 2 out. So here's Cargo, who started the home run barrage tonight with a first inning shot against Cologne that went over 430 feet. Then he singled and walked. Struck out his last at bat against Gilmartin, the only time he's been retired tonight. And the changeup in for a strike. Clippard gets ahead on Gonzalez, 0-2. It's been a tough guy for Cargo to face. He's just 1 for 7 against Clippard in his career. Clippard has been exactly what the Mets have needed, filling that 8th inning role in front of Familia. Arrived just as Mejia was exiting. With all the troubles the Mets have had over the last couple of weeks in their bullpen, can you imagine where they'd be if they didn't have him?
You got a 28 hit game and 4-run lead. If you would think there would never be a chance for a save in a ball game, but is a possibility.
Cargo strikes out. The ball trickles behind d'Arnaud, but he's there to make the play, and that retires the side. So Clippard fans Gonzalez to get the Mets through the bottom of the 8th. And we head off to the 9th in Denver, where things are moving in a hurry. 13-9 New York. Again, and the guy in the 3-hole is told the story tonight. 5 for 5, 3 homers, 7 RBIs, 5 runs scored, a stolen base. NYN Cespedes having one of the great nights in Mets history, and a 4-run Met lead as we go to the 9th inning. And Rafael Betancourt will try to become the latest Rocky pitcher to attempt to put up a 0. None has done it yet.
Well, he's had a terrific career, Betancourt, with Cleveland, and here has always been an 8th inning guy at Tommy John, and has come back this year and has not fared well, as you can see his numbers. Getting on in years too.
Juan Uribe up for the 2nd time. Came up as a pinch hitter in the 7th inning. Get a slow roller, and Gonzalez Hermen threw him out. Uribe, Granderson, and Murphy for the Mets in the top of the 9th, as Jeurys Familiar starts to get ready in the Mets bullpen. Betancourt is the 6th Colorado pitcher of the night, and each of the first 5 have given up runs. John Gray, who was so impressive 10 days ago against the Mets, got knocked out in the 2nd inning, gave up 7 runs and 8 hits. Christian Bergman has been the best of the lot, 3 1/3, 1 run, 2 hits. Then Friedrich gave up 2 runs, Hermen gave up 2 runs, Canely gave up a run. And now Uribe starts the 9th inning with another extra base hit. It has been a parade of doubles, triples, and home runs tonight, and Uribe has himself a 2-base hit to start the 9th.
And bar a double play, which would have to be a line drive double play, Cespedes gets another crack.
So the Mets have their 8th extra base hit and their 16th hit of the night. And now Granderson, who's 2 for 4 and a walk. Driven on a run, scored a run, stolen a base. Murphy on deck, and Cespedes behind him. Granderson cracks one to deep center field. Blackman trying to run it down, and he gets there. Nice play. Uribe tags. He'll go to 3rd. That was a bullet hit by Granderson, and Blackman makes a terrific play to run it down.
Really a wonderful play. Playing to the opposite field, ran it down. Now the great base running, not great, excellent base running by Uribe. Remember, it's a 4-run game. But look at him take the read. And he tags up. He was far enough away. He scores at the ball. Ball gets by the center fielder. It goes to the wall. He scores easily. Advances to 3rd. Heads up base running.
So 2 batters against Betancourt and 2 very solidly hit balls. Now the infield comes in to face Murphy. Murphy is 1 for 4 and a walk today. Drove in a run back in the 2nd with a base hit. And he goes after the breaking ball in the dirt. And there is Cespedes, hoping to become the 2nd Met ever to put together a 6-hit game, and the 1st ever to hit 4 home runs. Only Edgardo Alfonso has had 6 hits in a game for the Mets. Oh, 0-2 to Murphy. Two. Murphy started the game at 3rd base, moved to 1st base in the 7th. Lucas Duda came out, and still we've had no word on why Duda came out of the game. One-two from Betancourt. Too high. Rafael Betancourt is now 40 years old. Back when he was pitching for the Indians in 2007, he had one of the great relief years that anybody has ever had. A 1.47 ERA, 79 innings, 51 hits, 9 walks, and 80 strikeouts.
Great year.
One of the best ever. 2-2. Fouled away. Two coming, and Murphy hooks one out to right. Tagging at third is Uribe. Gonzalez makes the catch, and the throw coming in, not in time. The Mets have now scored in 7 different innings. Murphy with a sacrifice fly to make it 14-9. Good at bat for Murph.
Like that 5-run lead going in to the 9th inning.
And now Cespedes gets a really nice hand from the large number of Met fans on hand. And as the night gets later, those Met fans compose a greater and greater percentage of this crowd. Double, homer, 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 single. 5 for 5, 7 RBIs. And he takes the breaking ball down for ball 1. Citi Field West. Cespedes fouls it off. Yoenis hit a grand slam back in the 2nd inning, the 2nd of his career. A solo shot in the 4th, a 2-run homer in the 6th. He bracketed that with a double and a single. He scored 5 runs. One from Bencourt. Foul back. Every swing a massive cut. But he shortened up with 2 strikes last time up.
He did.
And poked a base hit to right field.
There you go. Like Dad, or is it Grandpa?
One, 2. Toward the gap in right center field. Gonzalez over. He makes the running catch to deny Cespedes his 6th hit of the night. Only the Golden Glove of Carlos Gonzalez can get in the way of Yoenis Cespedes with a career night tonight. Game. Giants get set for theirs. Mike Fiers throws a no-hitter against the Dodgers, and much more on the Mets as well on Geico Sports Night after the postgame. Jay Reed's familiar. We'll see if he can make quick work of the Rockies in the bottom of the ninth, with the Mets leading 14-9. Well, NYN Cespedes finally made an out in the top of the ninth inning.
Well, it was a hard out. Stayed level on this one. Bullet run down by Carlos Gonzalez.
And look at the reaction of the Mets fans.
No, they wanted it.
Even looked like the Cargo fan wanted it. Well, Cespedes will settle for 5 for 6, 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 5 runs scored, and Familia will try and finish this up. He's got to start with Nolan Arenado, who's having a pretty good night of his own. 2 doubles and a home run. He's driven in 4 and scored 3. On a normal night, that would be the best offensive output of the night, but this is anything but a normal night.
This is not a normal night.
Arenado, Paulson, and LeMahieu due up for the Rockies. Familia staggered to a save in his last appearance in Baltimore on Tuesday night. Remember the botched play at first base where Duda got in Familia's way and couldn't hit the bag.
Right.
That prolonged the inning, and then Familia issued 2 bases loaded walks to get the Orioles back in the game before he was able to close the door. Here he gets a clean inning with a 5-run lead, not a save situation. Arenado slices one foul, and it's 1-2. Sean Gilmartin is the pitcher of record on the long side for the Mets. After Bartolo Colon got knocked out in the 4th inning, Gilmartin went 2 1/3, allowed a run on 2 hits. Hansel Robles gave up a run in the 7th. Tyler Clippard a hitless 8th, and now Familia trying to finish it off. Mets bullpen has given up 2 runs, but has vastly outpitched the Rockies bullpen tonight. Quick pitch, fastball inside. And frankly, that's how the Mets swept a 4-game series from the Rockies in New York. 3 of the 4 games, the Rockies got good starting pitching, but their bullpen was dreadful. And tonight, both their starter and their bullpen were awful.
And the Mets have a chance. Don't forget, with Washington getting clobbered tonight at home by the Brewers.
Arenado drives one to right. Granderson goes back to get it. Almost misplayed that ball, but able to recover. And Arenado one hard out to start the bottom of the ninth.
So just to put a punctuation mark on my incomplete point, Mets have a chance to go 5 games after if they get the 2 more outs here, which would, to me, would be terrific.
Superb punctuation as always.
Yes.
You just put a little semicolon in there, and then you continued on until you got to the period.
Put a little punctuation on with this, get this game over with a Met win.
Here's Ben Paulson, who homered back in the 2nd, 1 for 4 on the night. And Paulson lifts this one foul. Paulson's home run was to left center field. He really drove it the other way against Colon. His 9th home run. Well, if the Mets win tonight and open up a 5-game lead, it would be their largest lead of the season. Mets have been to 4.5 several times, but never to 5, ahead of the Nats, who fell below 500 again with their loss tonight. And now it's 0-2 to Paulson. It is still hard to believe that the Nats don't have a huge run in them over their last 40-some games.
Well, their pitching's got to pick it up. And I mean, their starting pitching and their bullpen's been leaking oil too.
Well, the Mets with 13 straight games against last place teams starting tonight. Chance to put the pedal to the metal.
And they're going to have 6 games against the Nationals.
Right.
3 at home and the last 3 games of the season. And next road trip.
Well, they're in Washington on Labor Day to start a series, and then the last 3 games at Citi Field. Oh, and 2 to Paulson with LeMahieu on deck. And Paulson grounds one. Murphy with a nice sit spin, and the flip to Familia for the 2nd out. Nicely done by Murph, 2 away.
This is one of those games. Nice play here by Murph. Nice backhand. Nice underhand toss to your pitcher. These are one of those games when you're an everyday player and you come out, you're happy this game's over. It's an exhausting night.
And you're up here to compound it, the light air of Denver.
23 runs, 29 hits over 3.5 hours, 11 pitchers. It has been it's been a brawl. Mets finally took the lead. What they hoped was for good in the 6th inning on Cespedes' 3rd home run of the night against Christian Friedrich. Here's LeMahieu with 2 out, and he takes a high slider for a strike. LeMahieu 2 for 4. He's driven in 2 runs tonight. John Neese tomorrow night against Chris Russin, who comes off a complete game shutout his last start. So it might be a very different game with the 2 lefties. 1-1 to LeMahieu. And then Sunday, Logan Verrett gets his first big league start against David Hale. Both those games will be on Pix 11 the next 2 nights. 8 o'clock Eastern time start tomorrow. Wild cut by LeMahieu on the slider. And now the Rockies are down to their final strike. One-two from Familia. And LeMahieu just able to foul off that sinker. If LeMahieu can get on, Nick Hundley would be next, and Hundley would be searching for the cycle. He has singled, doubled, and tripled tonight, so he's hoping for that opportunity. Familia hoping to deny it to him. One-two. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. The Mets outscore the Colorado Rockies on an enormous night from Yoenis Cespedes. A career high 5 hits, a career high 3 home runs, 7 runs driven in, 5 runs scored, a stolen base to boot. And the Mets, in a game where they blew a 6-run lead, hold on to the lead and win 14-9, and now lead the Nats by 5 games, their largest division lead of the season.
Well, it's just one of those typical Coors Field games, and you just hope you come out on top. Cespedes, of course, is the star of the ball game with the big 7 RBI night, the 3 home runs, of course, 5 runs scored. Just a huge night, but everybody contributed tonight. Colon wasn't able to get out of the 4th inning. No one can get out of anything tonight. Really is one of those typical games. But the Mets are on top, Gary, and you said it, 5-game lead.
Well, the Mets bullpen, 5 1/3 innings, allowed just 2 runs, and that was enough. Sean Gilmartin got the win, but Cespedes, the big story as you check out the Jeep game summary. Took 3 hours and 34 minutes, but worth every moment for the Mets as they go to 9 games over 500 and 5 games in front of Washington. For every Mets win, the Mets Foundation is proud to contribute $2,500 to the Cats Women's Hospital and the Cats